याकुंदेंदु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदंड मंडित कर या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्मच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिवीर देवै सदा पूजिता सामांग पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जद्यपः. Esteemed Vice Chancellor, KIIT University, Professor Sasmita Samanta Madam, Honorable Chief Guest Shri Panchanan Kanungo Sir, Professor R.K. Singh, School of Management Sciences, Varanasi, respected Director, Professor Jayanta Parida Sir, Pinaki Sir, the Seminar Coordinator, respected guests of the day, faculty members, colleagues, dear students, and all the staff members. With the invocation of the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the harbinger of knowledge, learning, and creativity, I, Satvik Patnaik, Assistant Professor, would like to extend a warm and hearty welcome to one and all to the National Seminar on the topic Prioritizing Welfare in Market-Driven Indian Economy, organized by Kalinga School of Financial, Social, and Human Sciences, KIIT University. At the outset, we at the KSFH family are extremely grateful to each and every one of you present over here. In our culture, flowers symbolize fortune and at the same time is a symbol of the generosity, diversity, and liveliness of our civilization. So firstly, I would humbly request the student volunteers to welcome our Dash dignitaries with a bouquet of honor. Dear student volunteers, please. Our chief guest of the day, Shri Panchanan Kanungo Sir, we welcome you, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am, we welcome you, ma'am. Honorable Director, sir. Honorable R.K. Singh, sir. Seminar Coordinator, Pinaki, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a culture that has always upheld the principle of asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. We are a civilization that has always upheld the idea of light as the remover of darkness, light as the source of knowledge, and light as a remover of all sorts of illusion. So keeping up with this spirit, now with the humblest of regards, may I welcome the Dash dignitaries to kindly do the lamp lighting so that we can begin with the proceedings of the day. Honorable Madam and Sirs, please. Thank you, Madam and Sirs. Music has been the very life breath of our civilization. Music has been the very identity of Bharatvarsh. So keeping up with that spirit, now I would like to invite the chorus team to welcome this August gathering with the rendition of a beautiful song. Dear chorus team, please.
Bande kala jana charu hasya Sharira Sushobhita Tira Ghana 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 Bhumi Rajita Nira Buddha Manasa Jetarangi Kala Bande Jana. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear chorus students, for such a beautiful rendition of this song. It is said that morning shows the day, and we have such a musical start to this beautiful seminar. And when the chorus was being sung, each and every Odia could feel the very pulse of the beauty of this song. Thank you so much. Now, without much ado, it is the time to invite the very man without whose vision, without whose continuous inspiration, this event wasn't possible and we wouldn't be standing over here. Our very own director, Professor Jayant Parida, sir. I just want to tell this August gathering that sir has over 4 decades of experience in teaching. He was the HOD of Commerce, Utkal University, besides being the first D-Lit of Commerce in Odisha, besides also serving as the president of Indian Commerce Association. Thank you, sir. Sir, you have always stood with us in the highs and lows of life. So, sir, the stage is all yours now.
Very good morning to all of you. Esteemed President of this occasion, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Professor Sasmita Samant, Chief Guest of this occasion, Srijukta Trilochan Kanungo, Panchana, sorry, both are the brothers of this proud Odisha, and they are known by their dignity, their status, everything else. So, esteemed guest of this occasion, Professor R.K. Singh, the other guests who are on the online, Professor H.K. Pradhan from Ranchi, XLRI Ranchi, Dr. Pinaki, all my invited panelists, respected delegates, my dear student friends and participants, those who are in the offline as well as in the online too. I, on behalf of the school, the KIIT School of Social, Financial and Human Sciences, welcome all of you to this august occasion of one-day seminar, national seminar on a very pertinent topic, this prioritizing welfare in a market-driven Indian economy. Friends, for this occasion, on this inaugural function, we have amongst us the dignitaries who are known by themselves and perhaps they need no introduction. The chief guest of the occasion, Srijukta Panchanan Kanungo, a leader by himself, a student, started his career as a student leader at Ravenshaw College, the biggest college of the state as well as the Utkal University. And he proved himself a leader in true sense in many ways. He joined Indian National Congress, of course, in different parties too. But the most valuable things of his contribution in his life, I can say, for which the state is really benefited and really grateful to him, is that he was the finance minister of the state, and during his tenure as a finance minister, he could able to brought miracles of changes in this financial structure and infrastructure of the state. This computerization, what you are observing today, that is the daydream for Odisha peoples, and it is he who could able to introduce this computerization in this finance and as well as in the state governments. And for the student of commerce and management, you will be astonished to know that it is he who could able to bring the Odisha State Financial Corporation, which was his brainchild. Odisha State Financial Corporation, which was once upon a time one of the biggest financial institutions, imparting help and assistance for the industrial houses of the state. Of course, nowadays it has vanished in true sense. And the others are there. Odisha State Cooperative Bank also during his tenure. And also he has instituted Odisha State Marketing, Agricultural Marketing Board. And these are some of the contributions he has made during his tenure as finance minister of the state. About him, I can simply say, Panchanan Kanungo, a philanthropist, a social activist by nature, even at this age, he is contributing, he is working for the education and health of the poor people for the state. And also, truly speaking, the idea and ideology, what he has, it says, his integrity, his commitment for this public service is unquestionable, unquestionable. And really we are proud that he has readily agreed to come with, to be with us for this seminar, because that is his favorite topic. Why I invited him for many times to the Utkal University, especially when this type of topics are there. And that is the reason I invited him also for this seminar, and he readily agreed. Sir, we are really, really grateful to you for your benign presence. Friends, we have the guest of honor, Professor R.K. Singh, the head of the Department of the School of Management Sciences from Varanasi, who is an academician, who is a researcher, and of course, he proved himself as the best in forming the incubator centers. He assisted many industrial houses in this regard. Of course, after completing his MBA from Institute of Management Studies from Banaras, where actually my friend was the director and he was the student, and that is why he also be here with us. And he served 20 years in industry in different capacity, but he virtually shifted to this academic line, and here he has already served more than 12 years in this academic field. And his entrepreneurship, development for the state, for the many institutes of the country also. He's in the member of the boards in a different entrepreneurial body of the state as well as the nations too. And he being the most affectionate personality, who is very, very adventurous in his approach, and he is really enthusiastic in assisting us also in our adventures in our International Business Center. Really, we are thankful to Professor Singh for coming from Banaras to here, and we are this on behalf of the school. We are thankful to you. The other gentleman, of course, the eminent scholar, eminent professionalist, eminent in many consultant also, Professor H.K. Pradhan. H.K. Pradhan, the senior most professor of XLRI, of course, in economics. He's supposed to be here, but unfortunately, today is his last date of superannuation. Today, he's completing 65 years of age, and but his extension has already been met, but he has given me asked to be here, but due to some technical problems, he could not able to be here, but he will be in the online too. For this purpose, Pradhan is having more than 35 of teaching experience, and he has got a very professionally developed consultant, and is a member of different national bodies, like he is the chairman of Indian Commodity Market, he is the member of the RBI Technical Adventure Committee, he is the independent director of SBI Mutual Fund, he is the member of Microcredit Ranking, and many others. A passionate personality and a very, very humble and generous person belongs to Odisha, of course, and he is also our classmate. And we are really proud of him because he constantly guiding us in our research endeavor. And he is here, of course, in the online, not in the physical mode. I also, on behalf of the school, as well as the university, as well as the participants, welcome Professor Pradhan to this. Our president of this occasion perhaps needs no introduction, known to everybody, Professor Sasmita Samant, the Vice Chancellor of this KIIT University. Actually, see, the architecture of this school, the School of Commerce and Economics, erstwhile is known, but now it is known as, she changed the name of KIIT School of Social, Financial and Human Sciences. This school, of course, only 3 years of origin. It started only in the year 2019 with 70 students and 7 faculties. But fortunately, because of our guidance, now the school is having more than 1,200 students and more than 42 faculties, and there are about 9 courses we are running. And very certainly we have introduced this education as well as this public policy, anthropology as a new subject in this from this academic year. Madam Sasmita Samant, I can simply say, I don't want to say more because she's there, always say, no, don't say more anything else about me. But let me tell, if at all you want to see something else, I have heard, must have heard, 2 in 1. She's all in one. She's all in one. Very, 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 very courageous and very down-to-earth, grounded in her acting, very innovative in her approach. And if you want to, if you are any problem, just go her. Within a fraction of a second, just like artificial intelligence, she is having the answer and she will be solve your problem. That is her magnanimity and very positive in approach and very student friendly. Of course, that is the reason for which the KIIT School of Commerce could able to come to this level. So also the KIIT University. We are grateful to her too, because it is her function. She is there, so I should not say more. About my school, I can simply say that school is striving hard to go up and up and up. Almost all the criteria to make a school of or an institution of the best, we have been fulfilling. Maybe in a qualitative term, maybe in a quantitative term, maybe infrastructure, everything else, perhaps we could able to satisfy. This infrastructure, this intellectual capacity, like the faculties drawn from, majority of the faculties are drawn from the IIT, from the BHO, from the central universities, from the JNU, from the Delhi, and also majority of the students are drawn from the out of the state. Fortunately, we are having more than 18 students from different parts of the world too. And these faculties, these students could able to excel in different fields, maybe in the placement, maybe in the research, maybe in the publication, even maybe in the patent. A new school could able to publish 12 patents. Hardly it occurs in any school, I give you guarantee. And during this last year, my faculties could able to publish more than 62 papers in Scopus Index, not in ordinary papers. This is the credibility. And as regards to placement is concerned, students are, first batch of students, 60% of them are being placed. And for this batch, placements is going on. Already more than 50 students have already been placed, and we expect many more. So this is all about my school, and I think with the blessings of you all, my school will come forward, and if not today, tomorrow it will be treated as one of the best schools in the country. And I'm sure that will be. Friends, with this topic, about this topic, I don't want to say anything else. I leave it to the Professor Pinaki to speak on that, to introduce the topic. But I believe that this is one emerging and pertinent topic to be discussed by this intellectual masses. That is the reason for which in the staff council of this school, we have decided to have this topic only. And as such, this topic has been finalized for national seminar. Of course, very shortly in the month of May, we are going to organize one international seminar for 3 days. And for 4th, 5th, and 6th of May, we are organizing that. I think this is an open invitation for all the participants who are physically and who are present in the online too. With this, once again, I welcome all of you to this occasion, to this seminar. And I think with your valuable suggestions, valuable interaction, this seminar will be a grand success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspirational words. And sir, definitely without your leadership and without your dynamism, this journey wouldn't have been possible. Now, with extreme privilege and honor, I would like to invite one of the most influential professor, leader, mentor, guide, and administrator, as our Honorable Director, sir, has already said, Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Sasmita Samanta, who has been an inspiration for people from all walks of life. Ma'am, please.
Very good morning. Our Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Panchanan Kango sir, the ex-finance minister of the state, for whom the whole state is proud of. A visionary leader, made lots of transformation during his tenure. And as a person also today, many people look towards him for getting the clues to grow. Thank you, sir, for being here. And our own director of KIIT School of Commerce, Professor John Parada sir, Professor R.K. Singh from Banaras Hindu University, Professor Pinaki on the dais, all the respected dignitaries from different universities, colleges present here, all the respected speakers, my all faculties of the School of Social, Financial and Human Sciences, and dear students. Professor Pollitt has said that I should not talk about the topic, but in the campus of KIIT, while we listen about welfare, the well-being, the services to the people, sustainability, perhaps all those words are very close to our heart. And since last 1 decade, the whole concept of economy, business, management, institution or organization, companies, it has just transformed. If we keenly observe the Companies Act 2013 and its reporting system, its auditing system, I hope that though today, while we talk about sustainability, many times in many forums, international forums, the decision of British Parliament taken in 2009 is taken as the example or reference in the whole globe, that how in 2019, this British Parliament decided to take the decision to bring the sense of sustainability to all sectors of the people in the country. They decided that the pollution is increasing. They decided that how to go for net zero in each and every activities, starting from economy and business, automation, the governance, everywhere they try to bring the net zero concept, and which is taken as the model in the globe. I have attended many international forums where I have seen that is taken as the example. And if you see the reports, the Forbes report or the report of Global Economic Forum, everywhere they are taken, that is taken as the example of the consciousness about sustainability, consciousness about the net zero concept. But since last decade, we have seen that all the pioneering MNCs in the globe, starting from Apple, then we see many other automation industries or Microsoft, everybody, they have mentioned or they have committed that all of them want to go for the net zero concept by either by 2030 or between 2030 to 2050. Perhaps 2050 is the bar in this globe now to achieve the concept of net zero. But if we see our 2013 Company Registration Act, perhaps we are brought it into the system or the policy that the sustainability should be one of the major focus of all the business houses in the country. And today we are talking about welfare in marketing. Tomorrow we will be talking maybe about the welfare in business sense, the values. But I hope that in campuses of KIIT and KISS, perhaps this is the most discussed topic. And I hope that the speakers, the students, the dignitaries, my faculties, those who are present here, while they will be discussing on the topic, they'll be getting many clues to connect themselves to different activities pioneered by them in the campuses, or the researches done in the campuses. They will be getting some clues or examples in and around KIIT and KS, and they will be able to connect it. So all the best to each one of you for this. Because I am having another one meeting, I'll be leaving just now. The Additional Solicitor General of India is visiting at 11 o'clock. So you all have to be present in that venue. So all the best to all the members present here, the speakers present here. I wish them all the best, and I hope that my faculties and students will be getting many clues to extend their research in this area. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, madam. Now may I humbly request the Honorable VC ma'am to honor our guests of the day with a memento as an expression of our gratitude and the deep bond that we share with each other. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, may I request you kindly to inaugurate a book written by our very own professor, Dr. Smruti Ranjan Das, sir. So, ma'am, we'll be very much honored if we could inaugurate this book written by our very own commerce teacher. Thank you so much, madam. We were indeed honored and privileged that we had you in our August gathering. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our Kalinga School of Social, Financial and Human Sciences is a school that comprises of disciplines as diverse as commerce, economics, sociology, and psychology. It has been a hub of creativity, innovation, and growth. This seminar is the very testament to that spirit of inquiry and critical thinking that this school encourages. Dear August gathering, ever since the last few decades, we have entered into an era of neoliberalism that is based on the principles of free market economy, that is based on the principles of competition. At the same time, the question arises, what would be the position of welfareism, whether it is education, health, and how to position welfareism in this era of neoliberalism? That is the topic which we are going to brainstorm in this one-day national seminar. So I would like to invite the seminar coordinator, Dr. Pinaki Nandan Patnaik, to kindly throw light on this topic. Sir, please.
Thank you, Satvik. Thank you, Sonali. We are, of course, today. So I'll give everybody about 30 seconds to calm down. We have had an inspiring talk by both Director Sir and, of course, Madam Vice Chancellor. And our adrenaline is, of course, running high. So I'll give everybody about 30 seconds to please calm down. Thank you. So we are today, of course, in the august presence of eminent thinkers, inspired scholars for this national seminar today, which is on the topic of prioritizing welfare in a market-driven Indian economy. We have just heard a couple of inspiring and thought-provoking speeches by Director Sir and, of course, Madam Vice Chancellor. And I promise you that a lot more is due next. I am reminded of the words of Benjamin Disraeli, an astute politician who served as the Prime Minister of Great Britain from 1874 to 1880. And he said that power has only one duty: to secure the social welfare of the people, which succinctly defines the role of the state and its responsibilities. We got our independence on the eve of 15th of August, 1947, and embarked on drafting our own constitution that enshrines our relationship with the state. The great visionaries and framers of the constitution went through a rigorous process of debate, documented as the Constituent Assembly debates, deliberations and discussion with several stakeholders from all walks of life to craft our relationship with our state, which is, of course, a constitution. The fundamental tenets of our constitution are stated in the preamble and state that India is envisioned as a socialist, secular republic that aims to provide social, economic, and political justice, the liberty to think and express, equality of status and opportunity, and, of course, finally, fraternity. The Constitution put people and their welfare first. In the words of William Odoes, an American jurist and politician of the 20th century, the concept of public welfare is broad and inclusive. It is all pervasive. The values it represents are spiritual as well as physical, aesthetic as well as monetary. It is within the power of the legislature to determine that the community should be beautiful as well as healthy, spacious as well as clean, well-balanced as well as carefully patrolled. The welfare state, in a more relatable avatar, is rather a socially embedded mixed economy with a belief in socialism, but with strong capitalist leanings. The Indian Constitution contains the directive principles of state policy from Articles 36 to 51, and they lay down the framework of welfare, our socialist state. These directive principles are not enforceable by law. Rather, they are the long-term but fundamental goals of our motherland, which help in defining the path of development that we are to follow. And it is the duty of the state to apply them while making law. Article 38 of the Constitution reads, the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic, and political shall pervade all institutions of national life. 46 states that the state shall promote with special care the education and economic interests of the weaker sections of the people. The state does this through various welfare programs designed to benefit its people. But data shows that much needs to be done, as very little has been achieved as yet. The incapacity of the welfare measures to ensure development and growth led to the process of liberalization, and we are all children of the liberalized society. Though the World Bank had advised India against public sector programs and sought a greater role to private enterprise in 1958, India embraced the LPG policy in 1991 under the leadership of our former Prime Minister Narasimha Rao and with the insights of Manmohan Singh, the then Finance Minister, that allowed her to enter the trade market dynamics. On one hand, those who believed in liberalization in India argued that the new set of policies would bring in a successful transition from an essentially inward-looking posture to an outward-oriented economy, exploiting foreign trade and investment opportunities fully, a new policy framework which will promote greater efficiency, growth, and therewith a surer and deeper attack on poverty alleviation. But on the other side, there are those who argue that the expenditure on social sector schemes as part of welfare-related programs has been increasing in real terms in the era of liberalization. Data also shows that employment opportunities have declined in the public sector in accordance with the predictions. The privatization of some of our best PSUs are now parts of history. Some of them have closed down. Disinvestment became a ministry. Private sector opportunities have also not increased enough to compensate for the decline in employment in the private sector, in the public sector. However, growth in self-employment and casual labor seem to have increased. With the present retrenchment scenario emerging in many of the developed countries, the argument of private capital and competition seems to have taken a very hard hit. In the era of liberalization, privatization has brought in shades of capitalism and it has had dual results. The country is marching forward in terms of technology and its usage. Competition is resulting in benefits to the consumer, but at the same time has created a craving for success. Survival is now of the fittest. The pressing need for a speedy increase in national output has presently fascinated our attention. An overriding emphasis on accelerated economic growth and GDP is beset with serious dangers to the welfare of the individual and in the sense of maximum freedom to arrange and pursue our own economic benefits. Through this seminar, KSFH attempts to bring together researchers, thinkers, and scholars to a platform where they can present their research into the nuances of cause and effect, of constructs and parameters of growth fueled by a free market and its impact on the masses of this country in several aspects of welfare. The seminar brings together a galaxy of distinguished speakers and panelists to present a broad spectrum of thought that will enlighten us and take us on a journey of knowledge capture. It is my pleasure to also inform you that we received more than 100 manuscripts and a shortlisted few will be presented by the authors in the ensuing technical sessions. They cut across disciplines as knowledge emerges at the intersection of disciplines. It is my sincere hope that by the evening of today, there are more takeaways in terms of knowledge and learning than just the certificates. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you so much to the seminar coordinator, Pinaki sir. Sir, your dynamism, enthusiasm, and your hard work over these last few days has made this endeavor possible. Thank you, sir.
A very good morning to one and all present over here. I am Sonali Patnaik, a research scholar of this eminent department, find immense happiness in welcoming you all to the national seminar organized by our school in its endeavor to bring about lasting change through dialogue, discussion, and deliberation. Our school has organized the national seminar on the topic prioritizing welfare in the market-driven economy. I'm glad to share you that 100 students are with us in offline mode in 3 different classrooms here now, and more than 1,200 participants are joined with us through online today in this national seminar. Moving forward, May I have the pleasure to invite Dr. H.K. Pradhan, who has been Professor of Finance and Economics at XLRI Javier School of Management, Jamshedpur, with 35 years of experience in teaching, research, and consulting in the field of financial economics. Professor Pradhan, currently the chairman of the Governing Council of ICCE. Dr. Pradhan is presently the director on board of Clearing Corporation of India, SPI DFHI Limited, and the Research Advisory Committee of the Security and Exchange Board of India. May I have the pleasure to invite Dr. Pradhan to please address the gathering.
Thank you, Sonali. And I am grateful to the organizers, Professor Jayant Parida, good friend, to invite me and allow me to speak online from here. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Susmita Samantaji, for your gracious, always been gracious to invite me. Thank you so much. And delighted to participate along with Mr. Panchanan Kanungo sir, our ex-finance minister, good friend R.K. Singh, and Pinaki, Devasis, and colleagues at the school. So what I have, I think this topic of market-driven economy and its implication of on welfare, I think is extremely important. You know, I think that globally it is realized that unless there are state interventions, unless there are interventions in different forms, it's possible that the market-driven economy can derail the welfare of the majorities. So I have chosen very briefly a topic which I have worked, that is access to finance. How the finance can play a very important role, significant role in empowering people, creating livelihoods, and protecting lives. I think this is extremely important, emerging all over the world. I'm sure researchers are familiar with this, the global Findex data, which brings out by IMF every alternate year and tries to map the global scale of financial development. So I'm trying to give a basic framework that has happened, the constraints that are in India, and the innovations that we need to have from my own experience, you know, in associated with several of these guys' agencies wherever I have been. So I think it needless to say that the access to finance is definitely an important determinant of economic inclusion and welfare. In the heart of any vibrant economy is a broad-based financial system, and where everyone, individuals, families, micro business, everyone should have the opportunity to use their skills, combining with finance and credit. And enormous research has shown in India and elsewhere that inclusive financial system foster innovations and development and lead to long-run growth with equity. And when there are exclusion, and in specifically in developing economies like ours, or you know, emerging economy ours, where per capita income is low or human development indicators are actually low, then we find that this financial exclusion exacerbate income vulnerability. It pushes a lot of people into poverty if there are no access to finance. No wonder the World Bank's Sustainable Development Goals have 7 goals that somewhat related to financial inclusion. So what we are talking about in access to finance is the provision of finance to someone who is at the low income, the bottom of the pyramid, the poor, or who need the small scale financial services. And we're not talking of the medium and large families with per capita incomes are higher, but we're talking of the poorer households, the low income households, the vulnerable households, or the households that depend in the informal economy. And to be very specific, these households require beyond just a bank account. They need to have savings, credits, insurance, pension, bundling, a huge number of services, financial services for their betterment. So this is what, and there are number of studies, I think, including Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Daflo, who has very clearly pointed out that access to finance can have very significant development outcomes, lives and livelihood, business and employment, women empowerment, and ensuring lives, and better even the socio-economic indicators like health, education, child mortality, etc. So the National Strategy of Financial Inclusion by the RBI 2019 and 24, that was the plan which talks very clearly about how the formal finance can play an important role in creating jobs, reducing vulnerability. And I think it is pertinent for us to realize this, the mainstream goals set by the Reserve Bank of India. I would not be very specific, I mean, very detailed, but let me, given the time that let me put an architecture of ecosystem of what has happened. So we have a very robust financial system. We have built an ecosystem which is broad-based and definitely caters to, has potential to cater to almost every section of the society, starting with the social control of banks in 1967, nationalization of banks in 1969, creation of regional rural banks more in the less developed regions, 1975. And the most talked about the RBI financial inclusion plan and the PMJDY, the financial inclusion plan, which began a new concept away from the brick and mortar banking system to business correspondence or bank in form of a machine like ATM or POS machine, point of sale machine. Which started in the phase 1, 2010-13, and the phase 2, 2013-16. And the next was the financial inclusion, which was for the first time in the history found a mission mode. The Prime Minister has Jan Dhan Yojana, I'm sure all of you are familiar, and the subsequent, the triangle of Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. I think these two have really linked very significantly to the length and breadth of India, to every household in a large way. And then innovations in the form of the payment banks came up, making the transactions across India so smoothless. I'm sure all of us have seen that during the COVID times, how everybody could do the business or transactions sitting at home. And so payment banks and the small finance banks, small finance banks were basically converted from microfinance institutions to small finance bank, and the Mudra Bank, the refinancing agencies of SIDBI, which finances small loans. So I think one can see that India has now the right ecosystem for financial inclusion, providing access to finance. The 2014-15, those, I think we all remember how the Prime Minister gave a call for Jan Dhan to Jan Suraksha. And so what came is to be embedded is the insurance schemes along with insurance and pension schemes along with the bank account. So Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana, and Pension Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana. So they were embedded in the architecture of financial inclusion. So I think the achievements have been quite significant, and the account opening has been fairly successful in India, though there are gaps which I will discuss. And the biometric identification boosted account ownership almost in far-flung villages, remote locations. 70% of account owners open their first account in a bank to receive wage or government payment. So this was very unique, that the direct benefit transfers, which there were leakages, there were slippages, could come into the bank account for the beneficiaries. About 70% of the beneficiaries received through bank account. And another significant is that there used to be huge gender gaps. The women were not seen to be accessing finance. Around 17% in 2011. In just a decade, they ran to almost insignificant, in a sense that there were those potentially are willing or able could open bank account. And in COVID periods, 80 million adults made their first digital payments, and I think is progressing. But nevertheless, there are challenges. And one of the challenges which I would like to highlight is that when we say access to finance, I think it is not simply measured by having a bank account. Just an ownership of an account is not adequate. We also need to know whether the account is operatives, the guy is savings money, if there are frequency in the use, or having access to other forms of products, because the financial sector is not just banking or savings. It's also insurance, it's pensions, in other financial services, transactions, etc. So therefore, we need to have a broad-based measure of financial inclusions. Researchers, I'm sure, would like to look at that, and there are studies as well whether the access is different when it comes to banks or other forms of financial services. There are many things that explain those access: the demographic factors, the income differences, gender or age, education, rural versus urban, employment status, formal, informal. All of them can be significant determinants of this access. And the most important, what the behavioral finance is talking about, the behavioral biases. The people tend not to have an insurance, or not to think of, the savings for the old days, or not to think of a credit-led business. So therefore, there are behavioral biases which also have to be taken into account while measuring the financial inclusions. Well said, but if you see the progress of financial inclusion, I think it is phenomenal. It is very significant. The gaps we'll discuss. So you can see that the small loans, or micro, small, and the loans which come to the households, poor households, low income households today, as of March 2022, is 2,85,000 crores. And primarily, one can see 40% is by banks. So in India, is a predominantly bank-led financial inclusion. So the banks have the predominant share of access to finance. And the next comes, I think is a very significant and a welcome, is the microfinance institutions who have catered to the lower underserved segments. So this comes almost the next. And of course, then there are small finance banks and NBFCs and others. Now, the microfinance has emerged for a variety of reasons. Their lending models, I think I'll also speak on that. Both the bank-sponsored microfinance and the NBFC, MFI sponsored microfinance. So this microcredit by the formal financial systems is roughly about close to 80% of the small loans that has been advanced. It has been very successful, no doubt. But the reason, I think, if we see the reason why the microfinance has been a success, starting from the Bangladesh model, is that the way that that program is structured in terms of the joint liability groups or the self-help groups models, and I think there are a lot of studies. The studies still need to be done whether this peer group lending, the group lending, the joint liability lendings are more convenient and flexible to provide continuous financial services to the poor. So these group lending models have emerged and have succeeded, and I'm sure researchers would look at this data published by NABARD as to the success of SSGs and JLGs, joint liability groups, in ensuring credit discipline. Default rates have been lowest in this segment, as I'm sure there is a peer pressure to repay. Within the joint liability groups, it uses social collateral. The collateral is not land, or collateral is not an asset, but the collateral is the peer group monitoring. Among the groups they monitored to have better performance. So that research is still, I think, that taken place, but I think there's a lot of research could be done there. How this group lending models can succeed in many forms of financial services, in savings, in credit, in insurance, in pensions, in all kind of rotated, the saving schemes. I think that's extremely important for and success. I think it has a lot of potential for success in countries like ours. And one of the point of which I would like to emphasize, and I think need research, is that in the self-help group model of the banking system, what is necessary is the savings first approach, that you just put your own savings and then you are eligible for a credit. And I think it has done wonders that the women saving in the banking system, the self-help group savings in the banking system as proportion of even their credits, they often, I think, is phenomenal. And I think that shows the potential for social mobilization and peer group monitoring, and specifically women as savers and borrowers, I think is quite significant. This is an area, it not only creates livelihood, it also empowers women and brings social mobilization in the welfare scheme, whatever we are talking about. But nevertheless, as I said, India still has 40% access to informal sources. Researchers might come out and say that, look, we have informal credits, but it's not usurious, it's not expensive, it's not that high interest rate or exploitative that used to be the money lenders used to be too. But there are various forms of exploitations. There are forms of aggression in recovery. There are various forms of inhuman behavior approach adopted for recovering these dues. And I think that kind of studies we need to see that the informal credit still plays an important role. And why? Is it because the formal structure lacks certain things that the Indian low-income households need, the flexibility they need, or the timing, or the quantum, or the purpose, like consumption loans they need? I think this is something I think we need to research and see whether our formal system can still extend those loans, because despite this, almost like 75 years of efforts, 70 years of efforts since 1950, the Rural Credit Survey, which was undertaken in 1950 and report submitted in 1954, the informal credit used to be those days over 90%, it's still 40%. And I think this is astonishing. And my friend Professor Singh, I'm sure, would agree in his remarks. I'm sure he would mention he's an expert in small business economics, and that there is a huge credit constraints when it comes to the small business. So that's, I think, important. So there are critical questions we need to ask as to why still 230 million adults are unbanked in India. What makes them? Is it distance? It is trust? Is it lack of technology savviness? Or is it because of gender? Or is it because of the occupation they work, like informality? Or is it because they are migrant? So there are several reasons why I think we need to research. Why is this large proportion of people are unbanked and they primarily depend on informal sectors? And the adults who have an active bank account are only 33%. People open account, but only 1 out of every 3 use it. So therefore, in some form or other, which means the predominance of dormancy in the banking account, it needs to be researched. And then 17% of the population has only access credit. So the credit access is quite limited. Of the low-income households, and just 10% have life insurance cover. When you look at the insurance penetration, that's even still lower. So therefore, I think we need to scale up to have more access to the poor. I think we need to develop innovative solutions, how the access can be done. I think I would take very little time now to try to conclude, and I'll also give some ideas as to how we should work around. So these people who are constraints actually they work in informal economy, they are self-employed micro entrepreneurs, they're poor, they're rural agricultural laborer, their education levels are low, many of them are women, and their incomes vary day to day. They are not having a smooth income levels. They find it difficult to save and have fewer assets. They have no formal records of income that can be put as a collateral. They access small loans. These are very transaction expensive, and they require cash flow based lending, not the collateral based lending. So there are several reasons why these finance constraints are predominantly prevalent for the low income households. And then this is, I think, a point of research that we need to undertake as to why some sections of the population still, despite design, still have constraints to finance. I think I have put in some data. Without that, we can see here access to bank account is good, but pension is in rural area is just 6.3%. And I've just put it 2018 data because that is the data when the last All India Data and Investment Survey is available. And the Consumer Pyramid Survey, I'm sure students of economics are familiar, by the CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, brings out the survey. So therefore, this was the only comparison available. So I have just put it. One can see the insurance covers are very low, less than half. Health insurance is still lower, and investment in markets like mutual funds even less than 1%. So what we see here, the excess of households, unless we create an access to broader financial systems, the life and livelihood security would be limited. So similarly, if you see the liability side, the borrowings, again, informal sources still 34%, as we can see here. So these are very critical areas, and the borrowing, for the purpose, if you see the borrowing, one data I would like to say, people still borrow a large proportion for consumption. That is 22% of the loans are for consumption purposes. That would mean that this is where the lending innovations have not taken place. The bankers, of course, there are questions should be asked as to why the banks should lend you for spending consumptions. But in the absence of a consumption loan, the production loans get diverted, the production loans get misutilized, and lending programs become defunct. So some of these things need to be. So the challenge remains today, the huge unmet demand for credit. There are estimates by NABARD, IFC, that about just 30% of the market, we portfolio concentration of the entire small business loan, 82% in 10 states in India. The balance, there are only 18%. 300 districts is the concentration of small finance is about 88%, which means regionally, there are several sections and regions, they are still underserved in India. And micro entrepreneurs are credit stuffed, exclusions are due to size, collateral. So this there are reasons where we can see the and I would just cite a book by the Portfolio of the Poor for students by Jonathan Murdoch to read. Is an excellent example how the poor is constrained to save and invest. So what I'm trying to say is summarize this in the form that when we talk of access, we actually, why is that the financial system is not able to address to a large section is because when it comes to ultra poor and laboring poor, I think we need social security, not credit. So these people who belongs to this very poor and the laboring poor farm laborers, they need more of a social security. No wonder some of the social security schemes by this government are targeted to these people. But people who are self-employed poor, entrepreneurial poor, they need credit and insurance more effectively. I think the design of the program can also make some discrimination or distinction between where social security can serve and where credit-led development can serve. So I would probably there are multidimensional reasons for poverty. So I just want to make just very quick 1 minute comment on how can we do it. So there are many ways we can do it, and globally evidence shows. One is that automatic enrolling. Automatic enrolling means if you have a bank account, by default, you should have access to insurance or an accidental insurance or health insurance. I think that helps. Or peer pressure models like self-help group and joint liability group for mobilizing social collateral. Social commitment models like CSR, the engaging the stakeholders in the sectors to have social responsibility of business and meet the clients through CSR models. Pay for performance model. There are countries like Africa where you have given rewards to employees or rewards to savers by in the form of even price linked models like lotteries. You get a reward because you have a saving account. And then mobile and technology based model through automated teller machines, net banking, point of sale wallets. I think they also have far-flung access. And there are other tools, for example, those who are literate enough, well-educated enough, or reasonably are exposed, there one can design financial management tools to teach them lifetime goals for savings. And then there are models like human-centric design, where you need to understand the customer of the region, their saving habits, their social habits, and the way they live and spend. So when you have this kind of design-based measures, I think it is possible for us to address the needs of these people. So I think in brief, what I say is that if we design a financial systems with innovations, with models and products, I think it can lead to have access to a large majority of households. And I think it's definitely important that the 80% of the Indians should not be excluded from the larger, broader financial systems. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm delighted to participate here, and apology for not being present personally with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor S.K. Pradhan, for sharing your deep knowledge with us. We're enlightened and overwhelmed that being so occupied also you have joined with us through online. Thank you, sir. Going forward, may I have the pleasure to invite Dr. R.K. Singh, Professor, Convener, HOD, School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. Sir has 12 years of teaching and research experiences, besides 18 national and international publications, as well as presenting papers at national and international seminars. Sir has an industrial experience of 20 years and has held a wide variety of responsibilities that includes Chairperson, Board of Studies, Department of Commerce, SMS, Varanasi Chairperson, KIIT, Varanasi, Chairperson of Institution Innovation Council, SMS, Varanasi, Chairperson, Center for Public Relations, among many more. I would like to invite Professor R.K. Singh to the dais and please address the gathering. Please, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. Respected Chief Guest, Sri Vanchanan Kanumbuji, the former Finance Minister, Government of Odisha, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the State Institution, Professor Samantaji, Director of the Seminar and Director of the School of Social, Finance and Human Sciences, who has also been my senior in the HU, and like my elder brother, Dr. Jan Faridari. Our very respected Professor S.K. Pradhan, who has connected with me online, and Professor Pinaki Nandan Patnaik, the second coordinator, co-coordinator, all the respected faculty members, sitting over here, all the delegates, all the participants, and my dear friends. First, I would like to express my gratitude that you have invited me, the entire organizing team, and especially Professor Jan Faridari, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. The topic is very pertinent: prioritizing welfare in a market-driven Indian economy. It's being organized by the School of Social, Finance and Human Sciences. It is pertinent in other sense also. If you take the name of your school, key important words are there: social, finance, and any welfare cannot be thought of without understanding and implementing the social inclusion, the financial inclusion, about which Professor Pradhan was explaining, and understanding the human needs. Once it was asked from Mercy Vedas, who compiled a KIIT Purana, that how a common man can understand this ethic. So this is something which has to be understood by a common man. So what is the gist of this equitable? So he has said that my entire gist of this 18 Purana mentioned in one shloka. Ashtadash Puranesu Vyasasya Vachanam Vyam Paropakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parpita. The gist of this 18 Purana is that nothing is punya. Like if you do something good for others, do the paropkar, do the welfare. And nothing is as sin as if you harm someone. You're called the manasa vacha karmana. But if you think of hurting someone, there's a path. Vachana, if you say something and if you do something. So welfare, the philosophy of welfare is a very ancient phenomenon. And this has been mentioned in our ancient text. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha. We have thought of everyone's welfare. Now, why this question has come? It's a very pertinent topic. Why this question has come? When India is moving like anything, and we have become the 5th largest economy in the world, and we are moving ahead towards becoming a 5 trillion economy. Why we are questioning of the welfare? This is very important. I am taking you back 3 years. If you remember properly, in March 2020, when the lockdown was declared, in April, all of a sudden we started a very horrible scene on our television screen that people from different part of the India, they were coming back to their villages barefoot. They were not, in the lockdown, everything was closed. By seeing that, all of a sudden the question comes to mind, why this is happening? Why a person who has spent 10 years, 15 years in big metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Gurgaon, Pune, Bangalore, they are coming to their native place, villages, just for their survival. That at least you'll get the food, because they don't have money for 2-3 months. And this question, if you analyze, you have to understand the entire macroeconomic phenomenon. Since independence, we developed the islands of development. If you name tier 1 city, tier 2 city, only few metropolitans became the island of development. And we left 70% areas where our rural and tribal people are living. We have been told from very beginning, from childhood, that okay, if you want that success, you have to go to the Pune, you have to go to Bangalore, you have to go to Mumbai, you have to go to Delhi, you have to go to Gurgaon. And every island is having a saturation point. After that, there will be explosion. And this we have started understanding now. We are seeing the social conflict in one area or another area, which is against of the harmony of the society and the nation. When Professor Patnaik was explaining about the Indian Constitution, I was just hearing him. The preamble of the Indian Constitution, India has been declared as a welfare state. So welfare is requirement act. Welfare is needed. But whether our economy has just to be a market-driven economy, I was hearing one of the interview of Laktariji, and he has very clearly told Tesla that if you have to come to India, you should have a manufacturing unit. It is not just a market. India need not to be taken just as a market. This has to be not only a market-driven economy, but rather a manufacturing-driven economy. Because unless you manufacture, you cannot provide job to everyone. And we have seen a sort of Chinese invasion, I would like to use this word, Chinese invasion in our market. Everything is Chinese. Even Bhagwan Ganesh is also Chinese. What kind of scenario this is? On the technological front, if you're relying on the Chinese, okay. Although I'm not in favor of that. Why India cannot be? Because, unfortunately, the growth of the manufacturing sector in India has not been so good. Although, if you go to the ease of doing business index released by the World Bank, although last 2020 it was released, and they stopped releasing this because they were saying that China was pressurizing them to give the some upper ranking. In 2014, out of 190 countries, our position was 142 in ease of doing business index. And when it comes to 2020 last index, this has improved a lot to 63. Although if you see the 142 and 63, the position is good enough. But should we get satisfied with that? A country like India,
which is the 5th largest economy of the world, it should be in top 5, not on a 63rd position. So why it is happening? Although you must be knowing that MSMEs, Professor Pradhan was talking about the MSME sector, over 6 crore MSME units are there in India. And majority of the share is of the micro and small enterprises. Although we have clubbed into the MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises, but the major share is the micro and small enterprises. And they contribute in the 50% of the employment generation, or 50% of your foreign exchange. Unfortunately, it has been neglected for a longer period of time. But when in 2020, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana was declared by Honorable Prime Minister, some support system has been provided. But still the failure rate of this MSME is quite high. Nowadays, we are talking about the startup scenario. Good enough, lot of things are being done on every level. Because entrepreneur development is the only way. Even recently, you may have read in the newspaper that Government of India has declared very clearly that we cannot provide more than 2.5% of the job, government job. Any government cannot provide. You have to move towards the private sector. But when you talk about the startup scenario, you'll find a horrible data. 95% of a startup got failed within 5 years. All the biggest startups nowadays, you are saying, they are running in losses. You take the case of Ola, you take the case of Byju's, you take the car, everything. What is happening? They have been the much hyped startups. When it comes to 10 years, the success rate is just 1 to 2%. We need to analyze very clearly. See, nowadays getting fund is not a very difficult task. But if your idea is lacking the innovation, then this is going to create problem. Because for any startup, the scale-up is a very important thing. When you reach to the scale-up stage, it's very important thing. And growth of a startup is very essential. Entrepreneurship is very essential in this country. Because if you wish to work for the welfare, you need job. Without having a financial inclusion, no one can expect of a welfare. We should not forget that you don't just buy a product or service, you actually buy a solution. A startup should work on that part. They should provide solution, not mere a product or service. Avoid the overvaluation. And for innovation, although on innovation front also, India has proved a lot. Out of 131 countries, just 5-6 years back, our position was 104. Now, last year, 2022, it has reached to 40. But still 39 countries are ahead of us. I'm seeing the things in that way. So why it is happening? Recently, you may have seen in the newspapers that the number of research publication has increased in India, although citation has not so increased, but number of publication has increased. But in spite of all these things, why the Global Innovation Index, our ranking is not in top 5? Unfortunately, since we all are academicians related with academics, except 1 or 2 institutions, we are not in top 200 universities of the world. Why? And the same talent who is serving there, they are getting all the opportunities. Same Indian talent, they are serving everywhere, you are saying. Every part of the world, every multinationals, everywhere we Indians are ruling the world actually. But why not in India? See, one of the major factors in the Global Innovation Index is the number of patents being filed. And you will be surprised to know that out of 100 patents which we file every year, only 1 or 2 patents are being converted into a commercial viable, feasible product. Anything which is different may be an innovation, but if it is not fulfilling the need of the people, you will not accept it. And for that, what we have to do? Recently, during the COVID, you may have seen the development of vaccine. It was much needed at that time because the entire humanity was suffering. And this vaccine was developed by the industry and academic collaboration. So unless we will have this kind of triple helix model, although earlier I was just focusing on triple helix model where the government, industry and academia has to work together. But now recently I am working on a research paper on a 5 helix model. Mere having an industry, academia and government collaboration is not important. The society has to be in center and the environment has to be taken care of. This is what actually the sustainable development we are talking about. So unless we take care of the society, unless we take care of the this environment, because if you go through this triple P bottom line approach, where people, planet, and profit, these 3 dimensions are there. Today's seminar topic, the welfare, is basically related with the people. You just gain a profit and don't take care of the planet, then this planet is going to harm you. March end is here and we are enjoying the rain. Just you can understand. I was coming yesterday, lot of, you can understand in this scenario what happens when you are sitting in a plane. Why we are forgetting the environment? If you go to the Rig Veda, there was no worship of, just 1 minute, no worship of God as such was there. There was a worship of the nature. If you go to the Shanti Sloka, it was very clearly mentioned. Aushadya Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Vayu Shanti, Jala Shanti, Agni Shanti. If you play with the environment will play with us. And that will be very dangerous. So welfare is very important, very pertinent. But for that, we need to work on our model. We need to work on the grassroots level. We have to understand how the new technology, because just I would like to say one line, then I will finish because time is too late. You all know we are at present moving through industrial 4.0, means digitalization of a smart business and all these things. But now the experts are talking about industry 5.0, because industry 4.0, we have become mechanized. We don't have to produce the robots. We need human being, and human element is missing. And that's why, to comply with industry 4.0, we have started doing the education 4.0. And just we have gone through the online education, and you may have understand what is the importance of lack of the human touch. Taking class on Zoom and taking class physically, we all are teachers, you know the difference. So we have to inculcate this human element in our entire model. Only then this welfare dynamics will be successful. I would like to again thanks to the organizer, Professor Paida sir, Professor Patnaik sir, every organizing member, and all of you to patience listening me. And thank you very much. With this, we just commit one thing. I hope there will be a good deliberation of the research papers on this dimension. But just we commit from that every time, everywhere, the welfare of the people should be on our mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. We will be very enlightened if we will hear you in our future events, sir. I am profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce the chief guest of the day. Sir, you don't need any introduction. Sir, you are a sculpture of humanity, a trade union leader, a social worker, ex-finance minister under the cabinet of Shri Naveen Patnaik, the Chief Minister of Odisha, three-time MLA from Govindpur Vidhan Sabha constituency from 1977 to 1980, 1995 to 2000, and 2000 to 2004. Sir, I would like to request to please call upon the dais and address the gathering with your kind words. Please, sir.
Very good morning to you all. The chairperson, already she has left, the vice chancellor of this institution, Madam Samant, and director, Mr. Parida, Professor Singh, and Professor Patnaik, the learned delegates, participants, and my dear students. Really, it is a great privilege for me to say a few words on market economy and welfare. I am really a common man. I am not a professor. I am not in a habit of doing seminar classes, going to seminar classes, but I am in a habit of going to the market and going to the people, connecting the people with the market. The behavior of the market and the behavior of the choice changes, how the choice changes. Choice takes the place in the matter of purchasers or buyers attitude. Friends, really, market was not born with the state concept. When state was born, the political state, what we call the political state, when it was born, the market was not there. Only the giver and takers are there. When the shareholders are there, share takers are there. Nothing a market economy, nothing like a market holding the system, it was not there. But when the state was born, welfare was born with that. Because state had two concepts. To protect their subject and to give bring the welfare to inclusion to include all the subjects in the welfare activities and to provide welfare measures for them, sharing the things. So market was not there at the time of state concept when the state was born, but it was there, welfare. Welfare was constantly there, and the welfare is changing. The people need more welfare, different type of welfare activities, and also state is changing in that way. So we have to think in two lines. First of all, market. We have to understand what is market. Market then, it is a share market. It was not there. It's only the consumers, but buyers market, what we call the buyers market. In the buyers market, now it has changed to advertisers market. Advertisers market means in Odia, we say, Kohi bolli paribo jiye pocha chungudi bikibo siye. If you understand, that is the market economy. I am not criticizing the market economy, but market economy is this, starts with this view. But market was very simple then. We were sharing our products, our excess products were taking to a place, and others were those who are in need, they were taking it. So simple economic theory, give and take, demand and supply. On the basis of that, we are preparing our market economy, we are preparing our economy. But nowadays, it is much more complicated. Market is not that simple the way now we are delivering here, we are giving the teachings to the students. Market is divided, market is specialized, market is totally, even in the misnomer, we don't understand what is that market. Like your share market, it is also a market concept. But share market is very difficult to understand for a common man. But share market holds the total economy of the country. And like that, your market of what we call it bank market. Banking is also a place of market. It is also very difficult now to understand what type of banks are, how the banks are moving, what type of banks are doing in the market concept and helping the consumers or helping the customers. So let us call it the customers. So market economy, suppose labor market. It is another complicated theory, is labor market. So market is now divided into different parts. Market is divided, not only divided, market is also changed its behavior from one item to another item. Suppose you call it a buyer's market, the other side you call it a user's market. User's market means government, how it uses. Industrial houses, what they really use. So that is user's market. Buyer's market, what I need today. So I go to the market and what I need, I take the market. So immediately a specialization is there. Buyer's market is divided into one part, the consumer part, consumer's market. The other part, it is, we call it the user's market. You take this property, this thing, and you use it in a different manufacturing unit. So it is all user's market. So with all these, I'm coming to your market behavior. Actually, what we understand by this market holding, you have the word, the seminar is organized, is a very pertinent question, and it's a very pertinent, it's a very concern of today. Because when the market is severing, market is not constant, market is not behaving to support the economy of the country. It also destroys the economy of the country. Now we see in the share market thing. So with that, market actually it controls the state. Now it controls the state today. Number one, production also, market brings the production, the produces not as per the choice of the people, choice, necessity of the people. John Robinson's theory, it is not necessity oriented market. The market brings the thing what they decide. It's the market's decision to bring the products and force the people with your, what you call it, Hema Malini, or you call them, bring the Amitabh Bachchan with that Ghadi thing. The Ghadi speaks that this is the best powder, washing powder, so you take it. So this is how the market behavior, market comes to nowadays is coming with our system. And also, market is controlling our economy. Market is controlling our economy, it's proved because the moment money flow, as you know that money makes money, money flow, if it is reduced, then behavior change, market behavior is already changed. If money flow is speedy and accelerates, then the market behaves in a different way. So like this, market also changes with the money changes, money behavior changes. So that's why inflation, price rise, these are two byproducts of this market economy, markets behavior. There are two products. One is inflation, the other one is price rise. That is also a part of that inflation. So market economy, if market is the driver, it's market driven, it is said market driven. If market is the driver of the economy, driver of the state, these are the symptoms. Number one symptom is the inequality grows. Inequality and the differences between the haves and have-nots, this person to that person, area to area, it is also happens if the market controls your economy, markets controls your financial system, markets controls your political system. If you control the finance system, then it also indirectly controls your economic, what do you call it, the political system. That's why economy is nowadays, because of market, it is centralized. So these are the symptoms of market today. If you go to the welfare state, already one of her speakers is giving the idea of that how the constitutional makers, they placed it in the welfare state. I said, welfare state is not the product of the constitution. Welfare comes with the welfare state comes with the birth of your state concept. So, first welfare of the state is to bring the distributes benefits more and more among the deprived classes. Is the first welfare's first concept is the people deprived of the things. People are away from the real strength. The welfare state is the first view is to add strength to that section or to the people of that side. State intends to uplift the downtrodden and strengthen the middle class both financially and socially. State prioritizes the basic needs of the deprived and poor classes, poor categories. It emphasizes state, it means state, emphasizes on the targets of body mass index and human development index, SDA and the BMI. It's a welfare state's activities is also intends to improve the BMI and human development index. As you know that it is in the area to area, place to place, people to people, it differs. What with a state which makes the people for a better level playing. It is also the welfare activities that suppose the poverty-stricken people, 29% people, we say 30%, 40% people are below poverty line. So we have to bring them to the middle class level, to bring them to the upper level. So we are providing the subsidized or free rice. We are also distributing. It's a welfare activity, it's another welfare activity. And one thing, let me tell you, friends, all welfare activities is not consumption oriented. It also creates capital. How? The health as we know, health is our wealth. You said that Vidya Otoi Mahadhana. Odiyare ame kohu Vidya Otoi Mahadhana. Orthat Vidya madhya, education also creates capital. Education also is the region of bringing capital or strengthening capital. And health also a region of, as you have gone through the system, if your health is good, you can work more, you can earn more. So body mass index, it gives you a healthy body mass index, gives you a healthy index, human development index. So that's why health is not nowadays is considered as a welfare activities. The welfare activity means we are sending money, it's just a consumption thing, or people who are sending the money, giving the money, or we are investing the money on that side. At this moment, if investment on health or education, it also gives us the strength. That's why friends, welfare activities divided in two parts. One part is consumption oriented, the other part is capital formation oriented. The capital formation oriented health is also helps in capital formation. Education is also helps in capital formation. So that's why state government, government of India or any government, they also give more emphasis on health and education and also on infrastructure. It is another activities where the infrastructure activity, where the wealth accumulates, assets created, permanent assets are created because of this activities, as we know. So with that, a state which makes the people also market, takes the people to the market, a welfare state. Why? If welfare activities grows, if welfare activities gives you the strength, then your purchasing power grows. If your purchasing power, with your growth of the purchasing power, your movement to the market is very frequent. If your market group movement is your the frequency is there, then market also gets the strength. That's why market is also linked with the welfare activities. We have to remember that thing. State which creates public goods to enhance the efficiencies and the so welfare activities also takes the people for a good living, which is ensures a prestigious life for all, a life of live with a dignified life, to live with a dignified life. Welfare activities also helps in this way. So welfare activities and market activities, and sometimes it is also linked. It also helps. It also supplements and complements each other in the, if you go by that way. So that's why we have to analyze our Odisha, not Odisha, our India's economic concept, because it's a national seminar, it's an economic seminar. So that's why in the post-independent India, our planners, they have gone for a mixed economic concept. The concept was, economic concept was mixed economic concept. With a mixed economic concept, in the core sector, we have spent our money, state or country, they plan to give their entire capital, they put their capital, but the paucity of capital didn't allow them to grow faster. That's why they invited the private parties, the houses with capital. It is all the first stage of our post-independent era. The second, it played a good dividend at that time. This mixed economic concept also paid a dividend, very good dividend. It also answered with very positive rewards, but suffered from too much bureaucratization. This mixed economy, mixed economic concept, the bureaucratic chapter, the bureaucratic pressure also, it also destroyed the real objective. It also destroyed the real movement of the mixed economy concept. That's why the planners, they changed from mixed economy to PPP economy. The market, they wanted the market intervention, the bankers intervention, they wanted the other investors investors intervention in the production and the manufacturing side. So that's why they changed it from capital and forced and danger and then it jumped to PPP. Then it suddenly shifted to liberalization. Then from PPP pattern to liberalized economy. In the PPP pattern, and before that, banks were nationalized. Banks, all different sectors were also nationalized, like coal, etc. So all core sectors, they were nationalized. But suddenly in the 90s, it shifted from that place to liberalization, and all nationalization started with it. This denationalization, disinvestment, what you call it. So now, let us come to the present position. After 2014, India's economy is the free market, total free market economy, which does not have any control. This economy, government does not have any control over this economy. That's why this economy, sometimes we feel it may destroy our entire system, and the real move for growth, it may be affected by for that reason. As a result, inflation and the unchecked price rise, these are two bad symptoms are always we're facing all these two symptoms. Because of this is the market-driven economy are different types of with this we feel total depending upon the market-driven economy may destroy our economic system and may destroy and may bring the differences between the people and the people. Because as you know, Oxfam India had made a study on this. More than half of the top 10% population's wealth is owned by the top 1% in 2021. This is the result, the study report. Top 1% owns more than 40.5% of total wealth in 2021. Top 5% owns 61.7% of total wealth, and top 10% owns 72.4% of total wealth in the country in 2021. That means it is the result of your market economy. Market economy, totally it takes the people, some people, a few people to the top. Vertically, it goes to up. Horizontally, some people, they suffer because of this type of growth. This abnormal growth, because of the abnormal growth, the people, particularly the middle class, they suffer, their position, their economic health comes down. It is all result of the market-driven economy. That's why market-driven economy and welfare economy, if we compare both, welfare economy is our need. I am giving one example. Our capital's name is, Odisha's capital's name is Lakshmi. India's capital name is something Birla, Tata, Dalmia, what you may call. In Odisha, our capital's name is Lakshmi. Lakshmi, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ବଜାରକୁ ବୁଲିବା ପାଇଁ ସେ ୱେଲଫେୟାର ଇକୋନୋମି କି ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଧରିକି ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି. She carries with her the welfare economy. She saw the one lady. କଣ ତା ନାଁ? କିଏ କହିପାରିବେ? ସେ ମହିଳାର ନାଁ କଣ? महिला शेड्यूल कास्ट मान दलित एवं दरिद्र श्रिया चंडालुणी ताकू भेटिले कैपिटल पुंजी कहला मु आरी पाखक जीवी एठी रही न रहिले ए जो साधवाणी पाखे रही जो बेपारी मान पाखे रही मते संपूर्ण भाव में भाव करायत्त करी एमती गोटे सोसाइटी गढ़िलानी जो सोसाइटी रे कौन शिष्टाचार नहीं जो सोसाइटी रे कौन भाव अर्थनीतिर कौन संवेदनशीलता नहीं अनुकूलशीलता संवेदनशीलता नहीं सो से घर पाखे रही चेष्टा कले रहिले सो कैपिटल सब बेले जदि वेलफेयर सांगे रहे डाउन ट्रोडन सांगे रहे तल श्रेणी रे रहे ताहले it gives result, it gives more dividend. So that's why I conclude with these words. In the market driven economy is required. Market driven required because as we know, for wealth accumulation, for creating investment, for creating capital, market economy is required. For distributing the thing, sabka sath, sabka vikas, we have to go for that. If you really sincerely want, then welfare activities should be expanded. Welfare economy, we have to other to welfare economy. So for wealth accumulation, for capital accumulation, we want market-driven economy, market should give an emphasis on the market. If we really want to take the welfare to everybody, sabka saath, sabka vikas, then we have to go for welfare economy. So a state with both, with market economy, with a market, a strong market, a consolidated market, and with also an expanded welfare activities, we have to run. So political system, political heads, they should come forward with these two ideas and to take the people, to take their subjects, to take their prajas, citizens with a two types of welfare activities and the market economic activities. They have to run it. Some planners have to do their planning. All these things. With all these, I conclude my speech. Excuse me, I am really hurry because my elder brother immediately yesterday he was admitted in the hospital Apollo. So that's why I'm in a very hurry mood because I had already given the words to Parida. So I decided to come and I spoke few words and you listened to me. Thanks. Any other occasion, if I get, I will come. That's why today, please excuse me. I'm leaving yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests on and off the dais, professors from other universities, participants, colleagues, students, staffs, and media personnel, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and privilege to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all those who are present here, both in online and offline platform, for making this event successful. I, Dr. Devasis Pai, Seminar Coordinator, extend a warm vote of thanks to our esteemed founder, BC Madam, Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, Directors, all of you who have played an integral role in making this event a grand success. Thank you all. Thank you for being here, for your valuable time. And we are looking forward to have many more fruitful discussions in the panel section. Thank you, everyone. Thank you and enjoy the next section, panel discussion.
Thank you so much, sir. This brings us to the successful closure of the inaugural session of this national seminar. Now, without any much ado, without any delay, we will be immediately begin up with the panel discussion. So I hand over the mic now to Sarita ma'am and Ghazal Bharadwaj, PhD scholar, to take over for the further proceedings of the day. Please.
Just be available in the night. I'm the guest manager, guest is first year too. Yes, okay. Kahin. Tea break में chair पे को तो दे दो वो tea break को दो.
We extend a very warm greetings to our renowned panelists, esteemed faculty members, staff members, and beloved students to the panel discussion on the theme Prioritizing Welfare on a Market-Driven Indian Economy. Now we request our esteemed panel members to kindly grace the dais. We are privileged to have amongst us Professor Mitali Chinnara ma'am, Utkal University, Professor K.C. Samal sir, NCDS Bhubaneswar, Professor S.N. Mishra sir, KSOM, KIIT University, Professor T.K. Pani sir, Ravenshaw University, Professor P. Satapathy sir, KISS University, Professor P.K. Hota sir from Utkal University, and Professor D. Jaina sir from KSRM, KIIT University. I request you all to kindly grace the dais, please, ma'am and sir.
We would like to take a moment for introducing our esteemed panel members to our audience. Professor Mitali Chinnara ma'am. She is currently serving as Professor, Department of Economics, Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. Professor Chinnara is an academician with 32 years of teaching and research experience. She has published 11 books and numerous articles in journals of repute. She is also an A-grade artist of All India Radio and Doordarshan, as well as recipient of the State Award as the Best Playback Singer.
We are privileged to have amongst us Professor S.N. Mishra sir. Initially, Professor Mishra was in the Indian Economic Service. Thereafter, he took over as an officer in the Indian Defence Account Service, where he served as Director of Finance with DRDO, Financial Advisor and Joint Secretary to Indian Air Force and Aerospace. Post-retirement, he is serving as a professor in KIIT School of Management. Sir is a regular columnist in Odisha Post and speaks passionately in important forums.
Professor T.K. Pani, sir. Professor T.K. Pani holds the position of Head, Department of Commerce in Devonshire University, Bhubaneswar. As of now, he has more than 2 decades of teaching and research experience. He was conferred as the Best Professor of Marketing Management by ET Now at Mumbai.
I consider it a great honor to welcome Professor Damodar Jaina, sir. Professor Damodar Jaina holds the position of Professor at School of Rural Management in KIIT University, Bhubaneswar. He has more than 25 years of teaching experience. His current research interests include climate change, environment, and sustainable development.
Our next guest is Professor K.C. Samal, sir. Professor K.C. Samal is Honorary Professor of Economics at Development Research Institute, Bhubaneswar. He has completed over 30 major research projects. He is at present Editor-in-Chief of Odisha Economic Journal of Odisha Economic Association.
Up next, we have with us Professor P.K. Hota, sir. Professor P.K. Hota is Honorary Professor, Head and Dean of Commerce at Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. He has been the President of All Odisha Commerce Association. His areas of expertise include advanced business statistics, security analysis, and management of financial institutions.
Our next guest is Professor B. Satpathy, sir. Professor B. Satpathy is currently serving as Professor of Political Science in KISS University, Bhubaneswar. He has a teaching and research experience of more than 30 years. His research interests include international politics, political theory, Western political thought research, and methodology international politics. Now, we would like to request Honorable Professor Mitali Ma'am, the moderator of this session, to kindly preside over the session and take it forward. Please, ma'am.
A very warm and good afternoon to all those who are present over here. Esteemed panel of members, academicians par excellence on the stage, and members of the stage, my dear student friends and researchers. At the outset, giving me an opportunity to moderate this session. Without wasting any time, let's go direct over to the topic, which is prioritizing welfare in a market-driven Indian economy. As has been pointed out in the inaugural session, our constitution, the directive principles enshrined in our constitutions, they reflect that India is a welfare state. It has been pointed out already. And it is the responsibility of the state to give equal opportunities to all, to have an equitable distribution of wealth. It also has the responsibility of reducing socio-economic inequalities and disparities and ensure equitable standard of living. Now, when we talk about, as students of economics, as students of, for that matter, as students of social science, when you talk about development, and development concept of development came later on after we talked about growth. Initially, we thought that we should have economic growth. It will automatically usher in development. And when we started talking about economic development much later, we started talking about a concept which is called inclusive growth, to include everyone in the process of growth. And the concept of inclusive growth was ushered in very late, I would say, in the 11th five-year plan in the year 2007. Before that, we didn't talk about inclusive growth. The reason being that we thought that growth will have, the kind of trickle-down effect. Whatever is there, it will automatically go down to the lower levels and bring everyone into the process, mainstream the everyone. If you, as our The first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru said, if you increase the economic pie, automatically everyone will get a share. So instead of talking about distribution, we concentrated upon increasing the size of the pie. But afterwards, it was found that it is not correct. Therefore, there was a stress on, on inclusive growth. But in spite of all that, what has been the outcome? Are we really increasing the welfare? Are we giving everyone an equal opportunity, an equitable, not equal, but equitable standard of living? Are we reducing our income and wealth inequalities? After the publication of the inequality report by the Oxfam, everyone is now talking about inequalities. India is, in fact, one of the fastest growing economies, no doubt. But at the same time, it is also one of the most unequal economies where the disparities between the haves and have-nots is quite high. What more is concerning is that these disparities will always be there. Yes, of course, it will always be there. But the thing is that these disparities are widening over a period of time, especially after the 1990s, or if 1990, if I talk about that. So what is special about 1990? All of us students of social sciences, we know that we liberalized, went for a policy of liberalization, privatization, and globalization in 1990. Whatever reason, whether it was forced upon us or we chose that is besides the point. But the fact remains that we went for that policy. It was not an option, I would say, but it was kind of an imperative at that point of time. I will not go into that, but after 1990s, the gap between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots, those who are in the upper echelons of the society and those at the bottom layer, the gap is increasing. I'll not bore you with statistics, all of us know that, but it has been increasing. The number of billionaires is increasing. So also the number of people who are in the lowest percentile in the economy. Absolute, in terms of percentage, poverty is reducing, yes, but in terms of the number of people below the line of poverty, the numbers are astounding. India is house to the largest or close to the largest number of poor people in the world. Why this is happening? Is there something wrong with the market-driven economy? In a market-driven economy, if we talk about what Adam Smith calls the invisible hand, there will be automatic fulfillment or allocation of resources leading to an optimum. Everyone guided by self-interest will reach that optimum. Is it happening? That is the question which is perturbing all of us, and that is a question which we want to ponder over in this seminar. Now, if you talk about welfare, welfare of the common people consists of access to minimum standards of living. It is not only, as you say, food, shelter, and housing. It also includes, at the present point of time, a reasonable amount of healthcare, access to education, and as has been pointed out, access to finance, and so on and so forth. I will flag certain issues, and my esteemed panelists will take it forward. If you talk about healthcare in India, decent healthcare in India is regarded at present as a luxury. Research says that out-of-pocket expenditure in India is one of the highest. And this the situation has exacerbated especially after the pandemic. Healthcare expenditure is something which is coming as a shock to, now we are talking about, there is a new concept evolving, We are talking about catastrophic health expenditure. When your health expenditure exceeds a certain percentage of your total income, we call it a catastrophic health expenditure. And this catastrophic health expenditure is pushing a large number of people who are at the brink of poverty below the line of poverty. Talk of education. Now, education is something, the numbers in terms of quantities, in terms of enrollment, It's increasing, yes. We have so many policies, so many programs, including that of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Gross enrollment ratio is more than 100%. But what about the quality of education? Now, a new concept has been devised by UNESCO, that is learning poverty. What is learning poverty? It's a very recent concept. Learning poverty is another form of poverty where a child, by the time he or she reaches the age of 10, he is not capable of some minimum amount of reading. 10 means almost the end of the preschool. By that time, reading is a fast step for acquiring education. So when a child is not capable of reading and comprehending simple texts, that is referred to as learning poverty. And UNESCO estimates that in the developing world, more than 50% of the children are afflicted by this learning poverty. For India, the proportion is more than 50%. I hope it's not surprising. When the ASER report every year comes out, we are always shocked by the ASER report. Enrollment is not education. It's about quality of education, right? So learning poverty, and what more, another interesting fact is that boys are more afflicted by learning poverty than girls. Now, if you talk about standard of living, we come to multidimensional poverty, and multidimensional poverty, you know, is quite high in India. I will not, instead of going into the data, we don't have to go into the data to know about what is happening to multidimensional poverty. So all these kinds of inequalities are persisting, are exacerbating, are rising over the years. And what is happening to what is happening to the economy is that the market-driven economy is only generating more and more billionaires. The number of billionaires during the pandemic pushed a lot of people below the line of poverty. The pandemic also created a lot of billionaires. This is the result of the market-driven economy. I'm not against market-driven economy, but what is the solution? The solutions are not very simple. But you have to have a mind. They're not impossible either. The Oxfam report says that if you tax the billionaires at 1%, it can finance the National Health Mission, India's largest healthcare initiative. 1%, and a lot of other statistics are given. So taxing the rich and giving a support to the poor, effectively ensuring that it reaches the deserving, it reaches the actual real beneficiary, may be one of the solutions. So we have esteemed panelists drawn across different fields of social sciences. All of them are erudite in their own field. So in this panel discussion, this is just my privilege to flag off the issue. Now, how we shall go ahead with this is that each of the panelists will put forth their views. Because of the paucity of time, we are running behind the schedule. So each of them are requested to put forth their views within 8 to 9 minutes. And after that, we shall take questions either from the other side of the stage or from among the panelists to make the discussion more lively, meaningful, and show that we have some take-home points. So we start off the discussion. I'd like to start with Professor K.C. Samal to give his views, and on humble request all of you to keep your views restricted to 8 to 9 minutes so that we have time for taking questions from the researchers, students, and the faculty members on the other side of the audience. Thank you so much, Professor K.C. Samal, sir.
By seeing the brochures, I came to know few words. Wealth, poverty, equal distributions of incomes, growth, employment generations, and welfare. I'll talk within 8 or 9 minutes only. I will revolve my lecture with these words only. There is no doubt due to liberalization, privatization, which lead to the integrations of India with the world economy, has led unequal distributions of wealth and income, at the same time bringing inequality between the regions in India. World Bank itself has said that we have advised India to liberalize and privatize in 1991 to advance loan from IMF and World Bank. But after that, we came to know there is wide disparity among the states and also among the individuals. Due to liberalizations and privatization, which lead to the market-driven economy, it brings inequality between the nations, according to KIIT, because the capital returns is far higher than the rate of growth. Similarly, there is also inequality among the regions and the states in India. There is also unequal distributions of income among the individuals. First, I am not giving any, since he has restricted my time limit. I'm saying 2006 survey, 2020 survey, and 2023 survey by World Bank, and also here in India by leading financial dailies. And I'll set out some of the points which will show how there is a difference or the inequality or imbalances between the states are not increasing, but it is also widening in 2006 to 2023. In 2006, that the income, per capita income of the 5 rich states at the top level is far higher than the 5 poorer states at the bottom levels. In 2003, the per capita income of the 5 richer states was 3 times more than the 5 bottom poor states, and it has increased to 3.3 points. Another, job creation, employment generation is far higher than in 5 richer states, than the bottom poorer states. So inequality is widening, and only 25% of the new employment generations in India is only in the most populous states, accounting for the 40% of the population in India. So this shows that those who are richer, first 5 in 2006, some states are there, only 1 or 2 there is differences. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, and Haryana are going at the top, and the lower levels, always Odisha remain among the poor. So due to this market-driven economy, the gap between the rich state and poor state are increasing. Similarly, poverty. The same survey said that the poverty reductions or alleviation, we are not using the word reduction, poverty alleviation in rich state are 50% effective more than the poverty alleviation program in the poorer states. If bank loan for 5 richer states at the top level, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, and Haryana, the 5 rich states take 50% of bank loan, and all other only take 5% of bank loans. Foreign direct investment in 2006, around 50% of foreign direct investment were going to the 5 richer states. Now, in this 2023, 90% of the foreign direct investment are going to the richer states. So thus, the gap or the regional imbalances in India is increasing due to the market-driven economy. Due to the introduction of liberalization and privatization trend since 1991, there is also, you have also mentioned, there is also inequality among the individual in India. As he has said, 1% of the people are the owner of the 20% of the national income of India, according to their unequal report. And 50% of the people are only owner of 13.5% of national income. This shows how there is widening of the income between the individuals in India. Similarly, we can say about the poverty. You have also mentioned the poverty reports. Poverty also, this poverty is increasing. But one merits of this, India is the country in the world who has taken out 27 crores of people from the poverty levels during 2005 to 2015. But at the same time, 26 crores of people are at the level, are just nearer to poverty lines. If anything happens, like COVID problems are not solved, then they will again enter to the new, as a new poor, because their economic conditions will be worse up, again will be added by the inflations. Similarly, we are saying, or the government is also saying that we are also removing or alleviating the poverty, but is not possible. In 2001, our position in hunger index among the 75 nations, it was a 2,201. But after 1 year, it became 2007. This position is declining. We are able to solve the problem of hunger. Even if you say we are alleviating the poverty, why this happens? The question is here. This is the political motive. Why this happens? Because we have adopted the policy of market forces, which will be determined by demand and supplies. And for this reason, we can say that since everything is determined by the demand and supply forces, or by the market, or by the dominant role of the private sectors, neglecting the role of public sector, this is happening. You might have known in your textbook, objective farm. Some say it is profit maximization. Another group say it is sales maximization or revenue maximization. And another who got the Nobel Prize, Herbert Simon, he said, no, it is only satisfying. A farm will try to remain in the business by earning at least minimum level of poverty. But in reality, in India, the farms, which we come to know from the survey of 1,000 industries, or factories, you can say industries in India, that it is the aim of profit maximization at the same time to maximize the sales. So for these two purposes, our companies in India are working. Even when I say the private sector, it includes the big business houses of India by Ambani, Adani, or Birla and Tata. At the same time, the multinational, the transnational, the international cartels, those who are coming from outside after 1991 to invest in India, they are also responsible not for the welfare of this, society, but only for profit maximization, whatever may be the theory in textbooks. Even they can go to the extent of murdering the head of the state for their own aim or objective of maximizing the properties. One example, there are so many examples. I'm giving the example of Bangladesh. Mujibur Rahman was the president's most popular representatives. He refused to Carlsberg, one multinational, to explore the oil in the Bay of Bengal. He refused. Then they planned through military commanders to murder him, and they murdered Mujibur Rahman in 1974 or 5 during emergency time. And after this murdering, then the first cabinet meeting in Bangladesh under the chairmanship conductor Mustaq Ahmed, first cabinet meeting, first important decisions is that the explorations of oil, right of exploration of oil in Bay of Bengal is to be given to the Carlsberg. This is the role of multinational. If you allow the multinational, if you allow the big businesses to dominate the economy, there is no question of welfare in the society. They will try to grab as much as money through so-called profit maximization or self-maximization. These are the aims. So if you allow the dominance of the private sector in the economy, it will must lead to the inequality among the individuals and inequality between the states, which is happening in India today. Then what to do? If this happens, what to do? This topic, not your topic is this. This is this World Bank's topic. This is World Bank statement that there are 3 important approaches how to alleviate the poverty, how to remove the unemployment, how to bring the equal distributions of incomes. Then there are 3 approaches. One is called basic needs approach. Food, clothes, shelters, and the aid, education, and health. Second is the community approach. Some progressive left people also support it. Community approach. Give power to the panchayat and the independent cooperative in rural areas. Then the problem will be solved. Third is, no question of this. World Bank, IMF, all donor countries from Western world, they say, you follow this. Allow the private sectors to operate. Allow the demand and supply force operate. And if some people are driven out from the market, then the government will take care of them. One example I'm giving, open demand for wine. पीने के लिए बहुत demand है. Then let the private producer produce it. And if the people fall down on the road, then the government will take care of it. This is the market-driven economy's main principle. Let them produce. Whatever happens to the people, the government will take care. So this is called social security approach. You take let the demand and the supply force determine the economy. If anyone falls from this economy or due to the crack of the system, then the government is there to take care. Through social security measures or welfare measures, which is the topic here. So I cannot explain in detail what should be the social factor, but I have mentioned this, my own view. We have no capacity to say anything. No one cares. We are just barking dog. We'll give just, it may be accepted or not. But one of my friends by my side and one of my students, one is IS officer, one is IES officer. No, you are not barking dog, sir. You are watchdog. What you say, we hear it. We try to remember your voice when you make a policy. So we are talking like a bark dog, but I have given the suggestion what should happen, what measures should be taken for the development of the social welfare in our country, because we are a very poor country. Whatever we may build the drums. First, I have said many people are living in rural areas, so we must take some measures in rural agricultural sectors. So that is RNF. We are always saying that we should develop agriculture. Even Gandhi said that a rural area means the agriculture is there. So develop the agriculture, there will be rural development. But that is another sectors, which is not said by any politician belonging to any party. That is rural non-agricultural sectors. Rural non-agricultural sector or rural non-farm sector. Why not said? Most of the politicians, or you or I, those who are coming to the academic world or to any other world, why the agriculture is given importance? Brahmins, Khandats, Korans, Bargad area, Tupulta, Agri and Sundargadia, they own this agriculture. So when they say there should be rural development, they say there must be development of agriculture, but there are rural non-agricultural sectors. In Odia, what we say, Chattisi Patar like this, they are engaged in the agricultural non-agricultural activities, Kumbara, Gudia, all these things. Their conditions are not considered, but they are declining. So modern rural non-farm sector should be taken into considerations to develop the rural areas, so welfare of the peoples. Then to develop them, there must be education and health. What you said, a 3 or 4 sentence, I'll say. Education and health must be taken into account so that they will be educated. They will take, again, from wage employment and self-employment. Wage employment is not a solution. It is just to catch the votes. Wage employment is not, there is a chronic poverty, there is a transit poverty. When there is cyclones or flood, that time you can have wage employment programs. So self-employment must be given importance. So for that reason, to be a self-employed, to start a business, one must be educated. To be educated, one must be healthy. To be healthy, one must have the nutritious food to be supplied by the governments at a free of cost. The education and health must not be treated as a tomato or a potato sold in the market. It must be treated as a service to be supplied free of cost by the government. It is our duty to snatch this due rights from the governments. It is not a commodity. So this education and health must be supplied to develop their capacity to state. Again, credit delivery. One thing, remember, there is demand. After liberalization and privatization, there is faceless growth. There is growth, but without any proper reasonable employment. Growth, there must be employment. And to be employment, only 3% of the workers in India are fit to join the skilled labor market. All are worthless. Their skill must be developed. There is demand. And another population report are saying, only one sentence, population saying that our population will rise and will surpass China. Correct. Our have the young boys, girls will be there. Working age people will be there, but they will not have the skill if they are not retrained, re-skilled, and join plus to consider vocational education should be given, because there will be more demand. India will supply workers, school workers all over the world if our workers are skilled. China, Japan, and Western European countries all are old, aging. There is scarcity of the skilled laborers, and India is a position to supply the skilled laborer to the world. So for that reason, whatever our working age populations are there, they should be skilled through training, through education, through technical, but not by NGO control skill development institute backed by the ruling party at the centers. So there are other suggestions. Your coordinator, combining the power of Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga, all women apart. So I am topping these credit deliveries. There are all these things there. I don't want to say anything, but this is the demand and supply forces determining the economy. Means everything will be, and we are not attacked by any crisis because we have some role of public sector banks. No financial crisis. All this. With this, I end my speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You have so many things to say. To constrain a teacher is really, I think being a teacher myself is a crime. So now I invite Professor S.N. Mishra Sir to deliberate upon his issues. We would prefer that we all keep to time. The point is that we have so many persons on the dais belonging to different fields of social science.
on freebies because you want an election. What you need is concrete welfare. And at the end, let me say, please, for heaven's sake, do not use your independent agencies to hound your political adversaries. The time has come when you need to monitor and empower your regulatory agencies. The failure of India today, as of many countries of the world, India is not an exception. Brexit happened in UK because people felt that the liberal economy is subserving the interest of the elite. Most of the studies very clearly point out that this whole concept of liberalism, the whole concept of market economy, which Francis Fukuyama spoke of in End of History, is not going to work if you do not care the poor, impoverished, and the marginalized. These are some of the thoughts I thought that we put this before this understanding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's wonderful to hear from you your take on the concept of welfare in a market-driven economy. May I now invite Professor P.K. Pani from Ravinshaw University to put forth his views. Let us be brief so that we can take a few questions, which will make the discussion reach its real meaning. It's a panel discussion, not a lecture. Let's keep that in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Esteemed galaxy of intellectuals on the dais, esteemed professors, learned persons of the dais, research scholars and students. The last sentence said by my previous speaker, what he was referring to, that welfare is not market driven, welfare is election driven. Am I right, sir? You were pointing towards, yes, welfare is election driven. When you talk of welfare, it is all about the range of government programs that provides financial and other aid to individuals or groups who can support themselves. Recently, I had been to my village. I stayed there for 15 days. I found a group of ladies, elderly ladies, very old ladies. They came by auto rickshaw. Then I asked them, why you have come? They said, we have come to collect our monthly pension, which was delayed for 3 months. We were in trouble. Then I said, who is giving you pension? Naman Obindoj. So you must have seen the last punchline for a few years. Apan mane khushi to, khushi. So when you talk of welfare, it is all about health, it is all about happiness, it is all about fortunes, good fortunes. I was going through all the schemes plotted by central government as well as state governments. I found they are targeting to whom? There are many schemes in different names for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. There are many schemes for women in the name of, let's say, class 6 to 7 years girls, class 9 to 10 years old girls. There are many schemes for farmers in the name of alia, in the name of pitha, in the name of many schemes. There are many schemes in the name of health. But if you find that India is a population of 135 crore population, why entire world is focusing India? Because of this population. Everybody wants to invest, and more than 55% of the people are youth. And when there is youth, there is hope. So every country hopes there is a big business prospect in India. So government of India, you'll find most of the schemes are to support the unreached, the people who don't have, and at the same time, the manufacturing sector. Let me give example one after another. For example, the golden quadrangle of Vajpayee that supported cement industry and steel industry. Distribution of bicycle to laborers supported cycle industry. distribution of laptops to all meritorious students supported that industry. Giving mobile phones to each and every farmer, women farmer in rural area supported those industries. So there is a link always between those two things. The question arises, since independence, we have plotted schemes after schemes. We have given different kind of subsidies, but see, you have to go through certain stages. We say India is progressing. When progress will stand, we go through stages like Sthiti, Gati, then Pragati. We have not progressed. I will not agree with other panel members. We have not yet progressed because our mental state of people have not in a progressive stage. We are still, as a human being in India, we want to grab, forget about our education, forget about our qualifications. We focus only on grabbing, accumulating more and more. In last, and just simple questions, I was just searching how many IS officers, IPS officers, professors belong to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe has gave up their reservation. Rare. Rare to rare. So question is that GDP and sustainable growth are two different things. We have got GDP in many fold, but sustainable growth part we are still lacking. We don't have proper drinking water. We don't have proper air to inhale. And at the same time, the problem of industrial wastage are manifold. And when you talk of well-being, don't think about only financial well-being. You have to think about other aspects of life, like not only economic or social well-being, you have to think of emotional well-being, emotional welfare, spiritual welfare, psychological welfare. And at the same time, we should have also occupational welfare. In the industry sector, those who are working, we all have, we are pointing out before 3 years, what is welfare people could realize only because of pandemic. None of us in pandemic. People have faced a lot of problems. Many people came on the roads and they helped others. So India is a different kind of country. It's a different kind of economy. Here we live in with different kind of tempo, spirit. There are philanthropists. The problem is that the mindset of people to give up. That is very important. See, all the Biju Shastra Yojana and all these things, if you go deep into, these are taking care of all private hospitals. These private hospitals are surviving because of these schemes. They're it. See, the mindset of doctors should change. The mindset of the investors should change. One of my brothers was admitted in Kalika Hospital last year. Here for a minor problem, he stayed there for 1 month because he had got insurance. Government was supposed to pay the money, they didn't discharge him. So that sort of mind is very much required. So I will request those who have already taken the benefit. When you are talking of welfare, welfare means it should be given to the people, those who have real need. Need means a state of deprivation. One should not throw the need towards me. I must feel I need that. That is very important. Just one day, for a survey purpose, I will request all the students go and see where the rice is being distributed. People are coming in a bullet. People are coming in a car. They are collecting their rice. So that sort of, the problem is that there is problem at regulatory point. At the point of regulation, there is problem. Okay, welfare schemes are good. That is good. People who are distressed, they must get it. But there is a lot of research is required that how these things can be properly regulated. We know that we have a shortage of time. We need to complete by 1:15, and if you allow a teacher to speak on, they will go on. So thank you very much. I should not take more time.
Being teachers, we are seeing an audience. It's always, I mean, it's you just want to go on and on, but we have to respect time. Now, may I request Professor Brahmanand Sarpati, former professor of political science at Utkal University and currently at KIIT University, Bhubaneswar, to give his views. I hope we're going to listen to something different, listening from Professor Sarpati from a political science perspective.
esteemed moderator, Professor Chinara, my revered panelists, very distinguished panelists, all the dais, excellent academicians and very knowledgeable persons, my dear student friends, researchers, participants. We are just a little away or crawling out of this bubbling mode. And this bubbling mode has a direct link with COVID-19 pandemic. And some of you might be knowing what is bubbling mode, the word which is chosen and the best word. And rejecting the societal norms and going back to the basics and the instincts. And the mode also implies or signifies to cope with the effect of COVID-19. And we knew that 130 crores vaccinations that India undertook. We live in a world which is in peril. It is a risky world. It is a wounded world in which we live. There is no certainty what will happen tomorrow. Major problems that have taken place is the Russia's war on Ukraine, and this has created a ripple throughout the world. To some degree or other, every country is affected by this war. And this is not an age of war, as our Prime Minister Modi said. This age is not an age of war. Still war goes on, and member of the Permanent Council that Russia become the protector of human rights, they are becoming the abusers of human rights or violators of human rights. This is the world in which we live. Let me put it very straight way. The straight way is economic liberalism has started right from 80s or prior to that. I will talk from the perspective of a post-colonial state. We are being judged, analyzed, and suggested, prescribed by the Western thinkers, where the milieus in which they live and the milieu in which we live are fundamentally different. We are a post-colonial state, and we knew that we emerged out of the process of decolonization. And when the colonial powers who colonized us, they said that they are white man's burden. We are there to civilize them. And it was a civilizing mission that they came and civilized us. We know 2 centuries we have been governed, and we know the price that we have paid. And we got political independence, but not economic independence. This for and that we were subjected to neo-colonialism after colonialism. When we became independent, along with us, many countries of the world, colonies, got attained political independence, and we are one of them. You might be knowing problems that we faced, so much of huge surplus on skilled human labor, human power that we have, and how to feed them. It was very difficult how to feed them. And many type of suggestions, alternatives, things of that sort that started. And the concept was from port to mouth. From port, the food will come to the port, and that will directly will consume from the foreign countries. That was our reality. We had economy which is ransacked, which has been sufficiently weakened. We have social structure which has been extremely fragmented, and still it is raising its ugly hand. Even a single individual can defy the state sovereignty, and that is what is happening recently. The Punjab police is after one person to catch him, unable to catch him. So we are also threatened by non-state actors within and outside. And forget about terrorism, an act of terrorism, international terrorism, national terrorism, local terrorism, whatsoever you may take. We may also talk about the status of women in India. And a woman can understand better, though we can also understand. And we knew that it is yet they are to be liberated, yet they are to be emancipated. They are not yet free from psychological, personal, and sexual oppression. This is the context in which we live. And let us begin with the first. There is no welfare is reflected in the preamble. What is reflected is the socialist. The socialist word is still there in our preamble. Though there are objections to remove the term socialism because we are no more socialist today. And when we talk of welfare, look at 135 crores of people. They need to be fed. They need to be housed. They need to be supplied with medicines, hygiene, health, education, everything. Basic standard of living must reach to every individual. We talk about the ability, capability to choose how one will develop capabilities and abilities. So, though might be some of my seniors, those who are here, Amartya Sen has written a book, The Idea of Justice, in 2009. There he has developed the problem of capability. He has talked of capability approach. You need to develop the capability of an individual to make free choices. He does not have a capability. He is a sellable. His own will is a sellable. And power over one's purse means power over one's mind and will. That is well controlled. And you need to develop capabilities. Hence the question comes positive state. Positive state, interfering state. What is the welfare state? William Beveridge in 1942 laid the blueprint of welfare state. 1942. William Beveridge's report, if you look at it, IV bills, he talks of how to eradicate these IV bills or IV words that we talked of there. We have embraced a political system which gives emphasis or priority to individual freedom than collective good. Therefore, we say right is prior to good. We have a different context. We talk of a communitarian approach. They talk of an individual approach, individual right. What is that? The man possesses a reason, and by reason, he knows what is good for him, what is good, bad for him. Capitalism rested on two. One is profit motive. First is free competition. The second is profit motive. These two principles guided capitalism, and it still continues. We talk of regulation today, even there was internal compulsion from capitalism itself to have a regulation of the economic system because it led to frequent instabilities. Capitalism as a system was arrested and it was not constant. It was fluctuating. How to arrest it? Even the capitalists themselves, they demanded that these need to be regulated because there is no guarantee. Today you are a capitalist, tomorrow you may not continue to be a capitalist. No more. The absolute motorcycle is available. It might be in the museum. All the products that we have used a few years back is not available on the street because new innovations took place and all that. So it is a phasing out. We are in a consumer society. And particularly I talk of post-colonial state, it was from port to mount. And we live in that condition. We live in those situations. And from then till now, we are traveling. And economic liberalism is taking many places, in many phases. It is wearing many masks, many covers, many changes, which do not exactly fit into the context of post-colonial state. We require economic help from those countries. And in the process, when we talk of free competition and profit motive, those who are capable, it gives priority, advantage to the talent, innovation, things of that sort, and it is a market which plays a vital role. And to them, market is immoral.
To us, market may be moral, but to them, market is moral. And everybody has a reason, and everybody has an advantage to do that. The second question I want to pinpoint is, for whom welfare? Welfare for the disadvantaged, for the downtrodden, for the debtors, for the victims of history. We talk of extending advantages to the maximum advantage to the least advantaged. That is what John Rawls talks of justice. Justice as a fairness. Therefore, the post-colonial state like us traveled from then or much prior to that, and we are reaching this stage today, neoliberalism. And in neoliberalism, the other phases will come. If you look at capitalism, industrial capitalism, monopoly capitalism, some are talking of crony capitalism. Adami is called crony capitalism. And the latest stage of capitalism is commodity capitalism. It is a restless creed. Capitalism is a restless creed. It is satiated only when there is nothing left to conquer. Here, the culture is commodified and consumed. Consumer welfare talk of, producers welfare we least talk of. Why there are attacks or criticism against welfare state? It started with Thatcher, the then Prime Minister of Britain, Margaret Thatcher, and President Reagan. And the concept is developed there, no more welfare. Why? The cost of welfare is too much. In 1971, Americans, they suffered a huge loss of their profit in 1971. That is the year in which this process, privatization, globalization, liberalization started. And they said free flow of capital to the rest of the country.
Sir, please conclude, sir.
And here, and 2 points I'll make. And one, look at the military expenditure. We are the greatest importer of military equipments from the rest of the world. We are the largest importer of the military warfare instruments, largest in the world. And nobody has topped us. And when we talk of this, even the expenditure on military is too much. That you might be knowing 59,000 crores for 36 Rafale helicopters. Just one example, I'm saying. Still, we are not capable and independent in manufacturing. Therefore, I will say and conclude by saying, if we combine the disadvantaged sections together, it becomes overwhelming majority. 60 crores of people are provided with the privilege, and now privilege has become economic tool for political gains. As it is rightly said, I put differently, it is used as an economic tool for political gains. We had heard that Indian constitution is a lawyer's paradise, but we are now convinced that it has become a statistician's paradise, justifying here and there, nothing conclusively coming up. Therefore, competition and compassion must go together. There cannot be only competition or free market. Therefore, the conclusion that I can say welfare measures is bound to continue, but it must be strictly monitored. Therefore, the answer is competition from capitalism and compassion for the welfare state must go together and combine it together. Both will reinforce each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Can I request Professor Pramod Kumar Bhatta from Utkal University Department of Commerce? You can see his views. The more we want to be heard, the less we should speak. So I hope all of us take a hint from that. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. I will try to as brief as possible. Esteemed panelists sitting on the dais and all the dignitaries, professors sitting before me, your students, ladies and gentlemen. Really, the discussion on this topic, the market-driven economy, prioritizing individual affairs. The discussion is really heart-touching, and it is coming around all the corners. It is reverberating, and I hope that it should continue. It is in such a mood now, but time is there. We should be as brief as possible. So continue this discussion. What is going on? Again, there are the all important words. That is market, and that is welfare. The market, as it has been described or defined by some of the panelists and some of the guests in the inaugural sessions, that the market is a share market, a market is something like where things are bought and sold. To a common man like me, I would say that market is where demand and supply exists. Well, whatever it may be, if there is a demand, there will be supply, and if then supply, and when they mix together, it makes a market. And demand and supply is there everywhere all the time. So we cannot ignore market. Market is there all the time. We cannot say that no, don't ignore market. We come away from market. It is a welfare state. Don't do anything like market. Market is bad. You cannot ignore market. You have to respect the market, because without a market, a society cannot run. Okay. The other thing is that how to regulate the market, control the market, benefits from the market. They are the all important questions. Okay. In a capitalist economy, it is the producers, they control the market and they take the profits. Whereas in a socialistic economy, it is a state which controls the economy. The profit is also taken away by the society and it is distributed among the members of the society. That is different. But there is market exist, whether it is a socialist economy, whether it is a capitalist economy, whether it is a pluralist economy, or any type of economy. Market is there. You cannot just be away from any market systems. And the second thing is that welfare. What is welfare? As it is being defined by many other panelists, by co-panelists, they say that it is regarding the public good. So the state must look at the public good. So what to do and who are the public? Who are to be given this welfare? Can the welfare be measured quantitatively, qualitatively? No, it cannot be measured. So we try to find out or make a cost benefit analysis of any welfare things, but rigidly it cannot be defined. And second thing is that many of such welfare measures are, you can say, they are not done in a rigid manner, and in many cases we found that those not deserving people, those sections, they also take away many of these welfare things which should go to the deserving person or deprived persons. Even you can take an example. There is a parking is available. It should be made for who cannot pay parking fees. But a rich man can also put the vehicle. There can be you can say the 5 rupees bill available. But a person with a car also can take that bill 5 rupees. That is also available for him. So whatever is available for the you can say deprived persons, many times that is also taken away by the non-deserving sections, and it happens. The second thing is that as it is said that welfare is for winning elections kind of things. To some extent, we find that that is also true. We find that many of the welfare measures are targeted voting principles for taking votes. Their goal is how to be in power, how to stay in power, not how to increase the level of the people, the standard of living. So we want that they should be the consumers, not that they should be the producers. In a producers and consumers economy, what is important that the consumers' demand should increase. When their demand can increase, when they have money in their pocket. then only they can demand. When the producers will have got benefit, the producers find demand in the market. So like to produce more, you will go for new projects, you will increase his capacity, and thereby the employment will increase, thereby again more money will go to the consumers, and again market will develop. And that means the well-being of the society. It is not that government's goal here is to see that market is run in a fair manner. That means nobody says unfair policy is there, competition is there, people get all types of information about the market, and the pricing policy is also done at the right perspective manners. So law and order is there, the ownership is protected, then only the market can run in a right manner, and the consumers and whether the general public, they will get what they deserve to get. And again, here in this case, one Chinese proverb says that if you want to make a person say one day happy, let us say from hunger, give him a kiss. If you want to make a family happy, give him a fishing rod. The person can catch fish and make his family happy. But the whole society you can make happy. You give the fisherman the skill to produce the fishing rod, so that he can make a factory and sell the fishing rod, and so the whole society, all members of the society, they can catch fish and everybody can be happy. So here in this case, what is important is that you need not only give food to the people, but you have to give the necessary skill to catch the fish. Then only they themselves will work and can make them happy. And you should also, some sections of people who have got the necessary talent to go to the market, can produce the fishing rod, who can sell it in the market, they can make employment generations, so the whole society can be happy. So self-employment or entrepreneurship is very important role to play to make the whole family, whole society happy. Again, here in this case, we find that in the whole world, which society is happy? Particularly for one state. You can see look at the Guinness index, then we find that where the inequality is high. Inequality is not the highest in India. Inequality is high in most of the feudal economies, like say African economies, like say some of the Arab economies, like some of the Latin American economies, there the inequality is the highest. India is the middle place. Where the inequality is lowest, it is the Scandinavian economies. So the Scandinavian economy will be Finland, the Norway, the Denmark, the Sweden, all these countries together. So what is their policy? Why the inequality is less there? Why it is very high in many other countries? They have got a mixed economy of both the public and private partnerships, and they run the economy in that way. We call it a Nordic economy. And in that economy, you will find that the public gives employment nearly up to 30% of the total employment is by the public sector only. And then 60 to 70% is done by the private sector. Even in the private sector, the pricing policy, the wage policy is determined by taking into tripartite conditions. The employee, the employer, and the trade union along with the government. The wage policy, the pricing policy is determined. Again, think about the government. What is the role of the government? Government main role is providing quality education, quality healthcare, quality housing, and quality food. That is the main role of the government. And you also find that in the happiness index, these countries are in the top 10. These countries are in the top 10. So why not such a policy where the public play role, the private play a role, and all of them together can decide for a policy what would be the minimum wage policy, what is the safety policy, safety network policy, who should get the welfare, who should not get the welfare. These things should be done by the society, not by the political party. Then we can make the whole society happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hotra. That was a big applause. Now we come to the last, but not the least, the speaker of this first session, Professor Damodar Jena from KIIT School of Management.
But before that, I would like to just say that Professor T.K. Pani has some other assignment for which he has to leave. So he is seeking permission to leave Professor T.K. Pani. We bid him adieu with heavy hearts though. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. So we would like to take a moment before you leave. So we just want to felicitate. Yeah, he has some other assignment. It's already beyond the scheduled time. Dais is yours, Professor Jena.
Thank you, respected Chair, Mitali Madam, and the honorable panel members. No, please don't look at me. I'm scared. I'll definitely I'll not cross the limit for 4 minutes. 3.5 minutes I told I'll not cross 4 minutes, but I will tell you. And I'm really happy, and what we think almost like 10 years. Having not less than 15 publications. I'm really happy, sir. Another like teacher, Professor S.N. Mishra is really consulting every moment. Thank you very much. Being a student of development studies and member of management education family, definitely I will not make you out from welfare by speaking longer time. That I will do that. And after listening to this, I reorganized myself to speak for 2-3 minutes with a different perspective. That is what I learned during my research. I reorganized myself to speak on that altogether different topic, not on the topic which I was discussed so far. And that topic from my core of my heart, and being an academician, as part of my extension, I experimented that in Tamil Nadu, particularly in Salem district where I was in Kadana Academy. And that is about how in the hardcore market economy, as a business entity ensures the welfare activities. It is not how to do, how it has been done. That is what I will say within 2 minutes. And the whole philosophy of this is based on the theory of production, distribution, married with both sales and profit maximization. Definitely not with business cost, though it fits sometimes into that because of Tamil Nadu and that to almost like 16 years addressal I talk about. But definitely it is not environment. The business cost is not the case. It may fit in sometimes. I'm talking about a particular business entity called Salem Hattar Palanjo. It's nothing but a federation. Once upon a time, it was promoted by a development organization called Han Foundation, who is working in almost 19 states in this country. And their model is considered to be the #1 SHG model, particularly started with microfinance, microfinance plus. I'll not describe all these things. Their turnover is around 100 crores today, annual turnover, including credit products, financial products. And almost 2,700, something around 2,800 families, members, 2,800 families. And with this 100 crores turnover, they have the following activities. Before coming to the following activities, I think Mr. Sir was putting, and even yes, I think he was mentioning the efficiency, capacity of the market. I really buy with this, sir, because this particular institution has ensured the capacity to sustain the welfare activities through its innovation, risk management. I'll come to that risk management point within 1.5 minutes. Then maybe governance, collaboration, that makes actually their capacity to sustain their welfare activities. What are the welfare activities? They have a set of welfare activities. I'll take one or two sets or groups of welfare activities. One, risk management. Risk management, when we say, there is not only, no, this is not only the health, it covers the life, health, livelihood. Livelihood covers different agriculture products, horticulture, and livestock. Along with this, these are the things you can say they buy the product from outside. It is surprise to many of us here that they have their own product. They have their own risk coverage product, insurance products from this, and it is cost effective. And when you say this, why I am saying welfare activities, when they give the premium comes back to them in two terms. One, dividend as a business entity, or welfare, other welfare activities, not for them. It is for the rest of the society directly. Microfinance plus. They take different education and health products other than this federation. So they have a mutuality concept of federation. In addition to that, they have a micro insurance. This covers under micro insurance. They have a micro justice, which is looks new, but that is what actually the product they bring. They ensure the at affordable cost, the federation effort in legal services, micro insurance, they say. This is the beauty of this, romantic part of this model. And this is what actually the welfare activity just sustain with this, the 4-5 characteristics. And the details we can discuss afterwards. I don't want to, as I promise, I'll not ensure you out of welfare by talking more. And the chair, madam, I have not crossed my limit. Thank you very much. This is actually what happened. I have shared with my intervention there. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jana, for your timely conclusion of your part of what you wanted to say. Now, if you have time, we can take 1 or 2 or 3 pointed questions. If you have, anyone has any pointed question, we don't want any, because of paucity of time, we don't have time for expression of comments. Yes, can we have a microphone there? Very pointed questions, and ma'am, please let us know who the question is directed towards. Or you can just say we will decide among ourselves. And please introduce yourself also.
I'm Dr. Sunita Samal. I have done my doctorate from JNU and I am done my PG from Utpal University. I want to know what is the relationship between population and distribution. Basically, economics talk about resources and politics is talk about how to distribute these things. That is the work of political science. And if state is a necessary evil, according to liberal capitalist view, state is a necessary evil. If state is a necessary evil, the more the people are dissociated from each other in liberalism, the more the power goes to the state. The state becomes more powerful. What is your opinion about? Another thing is, one thing I should not say, but there is the social and financial and human. The department of that, social, financial, and human. Where financial cannot be social, financial is different from social, something I can't understand.
So the second part of the question is about the name of the school, which is Social, Financial, and Human School. So that you can have a one-to-one deliberation with the director of the school later on. And regarding the first part of your question about politics is about distribution, somehow I don't agree, because what our speaker said, they said that when you are talking about welfare schemes of the government, it is more towards vote bank politics, rather than the purpose is more towards vote bank politics than the welfare of the people. But as that is what people, the speakers on the panel say, if anyone specifically wants to answer that question, we can. Anyone wants to answer that question?
When MGR introduced the midday meal scheme, long time back, very, very long time, many people derided him of indulging in populism. But history shows us that this was possibly the only scheme that you have in this country which cuts across political ideology and considered to be one of the most welfare-oriented distributive justice. So it is possible to marry populism with the distributive justice.
That was very nicely, very beautifully put, sir. Thank you. And any more discussion can be over lunch? Yes. Anyone else wants to? Very pointed and specific question. You want? Please, please. आगे चले आओ भाई. Come fast, young man. Good
afternoon, everyone. I am Brahmaputra Viswal, PhD student from KSFH Commerce Utkal University. My question is, shall we really worry about income inequality as long as we are able to provide an equal starting point to everyone and a vibrant democracy? Shall we really worry about income inequality or inequality of distribution of wealth as long as we are able to provide a strong foundation to have a dignified life, an equal starting point, and a vibrant democracy for everyone?
So long as there is income inequality, can we have first thing that playing field is not level, I would say. And we already have people who do not have the basic minimums of life. So equal starting point is a misnomer in that situation. So income inequality, if everyone has the minimum standard of life and then we have income inequalities, maybe we can tolerate it, or we can let it run. But still, an unequal society is a society which breeds a lot of problems in course of its development. So an unequal society, we don't want an equal society, but an equitable society. The gaps should not be so glaring as to give rise to problems in the functioning of the society. Thank you, sir. Yes, anyone? So I think we should wind up the session. So I thank, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm extremely sorry, I must apologize for cutting short some of the points, but as we say, the erudite professors, they know no limits. So it would have been a pleasure to hear from each one of them for 1 hour each, because they have that much of things to deliver and deliberate upon. So my apologies to all my panelists for cutting you short, sir. My apologies once again, but thank you. It has been an extremely enriching experience to be here. Thank you for the school and all my panelists and the students and researchers, faculty members on the other side for tolerating us for this long. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for such an informative session. Now I would like to request Honorable Director, sir, Jayan Kumar Parida, sir, to kindly felicitate our panel members. I would request, sir, to felicitate Professor K.Sri Samal, sir.
Time welfare state is a nanny state. Welfare state is a nanny state.
I would
nanny our like grandmother nanny. Grandchild की छाड़े में तलू को गोड़े में धूली लगी हो बिली किंतु ताकू काठी काठी ता गोड़ो टाकू बंका ही जाता है. So welfare state is a nanny state, which is nanny individuals. It is paternalism. Therefore, criticism against welfare state.
I would request, sir, to kindly felicitate Professor S.N. Mishra, sir. May I now request Professor P.T. Chaudhary, sir, to kindly felicitate Professor P. Satpathy, sir. I request sir to kindly felicitate Professor P.K. Hota sir. I now request Professor Surekha Sundari ma'am to kindly felicitate Professor Damodar Jaina sir. Now I would like to request our director sir to kindly felicitate Professor Mitali Chinnara ma'am, the moderator for the session, who beautifully wind up the session within time. Thank you, ma'am. I request Professor Sujitra madam to kindly give the vote of thanks and thank you, Sarita ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to offer vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Mitali Chinnara ma'am for moderating this panel discussion session and concluding it within the time very efficiently. I would like to thank Professor K.C. Samal sir for focusing on how this market-driven economy has created disparities, has increased the economic disparities, and giving solutions in terms of basic needs approach and social security approach. I would like to thank Professor S.N. Mishra sir for focusing not only on the social welfare, but also the economic welfare. Sir highlighted that somewhere it is a lack of regulatory mechanism which has deprived us of the welfare. Sir also had focused on not only this economic welfare, but also the emotional and psychological welfare. I would like to thank Professor T.K. Pani sir in absentia, who also enlightened us with his words. I would like to thank Professor B. Satpathy sir for focusing on neoliberalism and political freebies. I would like to thank Professor P.K. Hota sir for enlightening us with how we need to change to a producer-based economy rather than being a consumer-based economy. At last, I would like to thank Professor Damodar Jaina sir also to focus on the terms like risk management and micro-justice. I would like to thank all these audience here who is present and who has given us time. I would like to thank our director sir for organizing this panel discussion, and at last I would like to thank everyone for being here and for listening to the fruitful discussion. I hope you all got enlightened with all these words. Thank you. We'll be resuming with our technical sessions at from 2:30 p.m.